know that doesn't always work out that way.
If you win half those games at home against Sonoma, that's just
That's a 6-game swing right there. 3 more wins.
It's ground to the left side. Wagner waits for it to come down on a big hop. He'll throw to first in time for out number 3. Thurber, that pitch is by him, but underneath the legs of Weinrich, and on to second base goes Marty Carrena. The Diamonds will be looking for a double play to end this inning. If they 1-0 Sonoma, as McDonald comes to the plate, and that pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. The first pitch to Calderon from Thurber, and he hits this ball to left center field, and back goes the center fielder Hibernian. He can't get it. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Calderon around first on his way to second, and he will hold there with a double. Wagner makes the catch as he falls back. Oh my! He'll make the throw in time as
3 balls, strikes, 2 outs. The runner's going to get a jump.
making them aware that they know that they're there and they're not allowed. Oh,
Strike swung on and missed. The throw down is in plenty of time to get him.
come in here. This pitch for Wagner is hit to left field and is deep, and back goes Clark, and he's over to the wall, and it's gone.
Floater into short right field, and coming in to make the catch.
Go this ball, ground to the right side. Galletti stabs it. Throws to second for 1. Waits for a second to first. Did they make it? Yes, double play.
Be a pickoff play. The throw to first, now on to second, and View is out.
Swung on and missed. Strike 3. 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 Pitch to Marty Green is hit high and deep. Back to left field.
Way
back
back.
goes Metzger. He's at the wall. It's gone.
Gone. There it is. Yeah. All right.
Get the pitch that pops up, gets away. And J.J. Wagner going to scurry down to second base.
The high pop-up of a bunt. Picked off by Brankins. Delays his throw to second, and he could have had him maybe.
Strikeout, and Clark gets tagged out. This pitch is ripped to the right side, and right at Valdez just throws the first double play.
And Valdez says he's got it right in front of second base, but Garcia will take it up back to our shortstop, and he makes the catch. Lead to third. Here's the pitch. Valdez hits this one down the left field line. It's going to be trouble if it stays fair, and it's fair. In comes Bautista to score. On his way to third is McKeon, just picking up the ball now in left field. Metzger, and on with a double to the right side. Letty says he's got it. Valdez says he's got it, and he does.
1 out. The pitch from Hutchison hits this one to deep left field. Back to left fielder Clark. He's at the fence. He watches. He leaps. He can't get it. It's gone.
Left center field, and it's going to get down. Yes, Metzger. It hits out of his body. And got it on his way to second. They're going to throw it to second, and he slides safely. Hold on. He hits this one on the left side, and that's deep. Back goes Wallace. Chasing, give me Chase, give me Chase. He makes the catch in left center field. And leaps. Just hit the center field. Wallace is coming in, and he has it. And he'll just keep running on into the dugout because that's out number 3. Got a runner first base. 3-2 pitch. He hit the right back up the middle, and it's going to be picked up. No, it's going to go right by Yasuda into center field, and Bautista goes on to third. And looked like Yasuda running over because Bautista.
Up out of the air. On the hopper.
Team, all of that comes with the precursor that the rest of the team has to play like they played the first
Right.
half, and so and there's some outstanding qualities that they had that for the first half of the season, and so can you expect everybody to maintain? Well, that's what you want to have happen. The biggest thing that you just heard Aaron Miles say, he thinks it's timely hitting. He felt that was missing in those last games against Sonoma. You have the opportunity to get more runs. You got runners at second and third. Well, hell, they lost the second to last game that mattered with runners at second and third in the 9th inning, and left them stranded on a 1-0 game. You got runners at second and third in the 9th inning. You need someone to be able to bring them in. But it's I agree with the concept that it has been an inconsistent, and when they're bad, they're awful. The bullpen. I mean, it's not just, oh, I had an off night. They were just, you're wondering, how they ever got out to the mound. It's just, and there's, I don't know if there's anyone completely immune from it. That's a relief pitcher. They've all had their moments. They've also had some good times. So we'll see. They've worked to try to straighten that out, and we'll see what success they have. It's also interesting, out of all the stuff that's happened, that it's not only opening day all over again, which is a wonderful thing, but it's our first trip to Vallejo this year, which is very strange.
That's odd. That is definitely odd. Came here on several occasions in the first half last year. Hasn't worked out, though, with the schedule this year, but back in Vallejo here to start the opener of the 2017 second half. Travis Blackley going for the Diamonds and Pete Reyes going for Vallejo. And had a chance to talk to Tim Fitzgerald a little bit ago, and also Dave Grant, the announcers for Vallejo, and they've been talking about what they have to do to overcome that discrepancy that they have with the Sonoma Stompers, and probably a few more areas to cover for Vallejo than for Pittsburgh.
Well, no doubt they ended up in last place, and it was interesting how the league's form took shape early, and never really did change all that much. The Diamonds were right behind the Stompers, but they started out with that losing the first 3 games to them, and never could recover that small difference, and they ended up in second place. I know that Santa Fe feels like they didn't play up to their capability, and the Admirals have made some changes, and maybe they hope they're the changes that will make a difference. The truth is that with these 2 half seasons and a baseball season that is shorter than people are used to seeing, it's a sprint. It's not your long baseball season. It is a sprint to the finish, and so you don't have enough time to have a long slump or a big downtime. You don't have time to make it up. And that is something, and you don't even have time to lose 3 games to the Sonoma Stompers in a row at the beginning of the season. So here we are in Vallejo, and even if they could win the series, it would just be an incredibly important difference to the way they started the first half of the season. And that's what they're all looking forward to. It's nice to have a fresh start.
Well, you got a chance to do a lot of interviews with Aaron Miles, and I'm going to hear some of the stuff on the pregame show. Get a sense of how Aaron's feeling, what changes he thinks might be necessary, or is it just a situation where I got to plug these guys in, especially into the bullpen, and they just got to flat out play better?
Well, the part of it is that because he has faith in the pitchers, and he's also a very positive guy. He's not. So I have a sense that he tends to come across with the positives. He would like the relief pitchers to do better, and especially ones that he believes in. He's given a lot of people a chance. I think it's a very difficult position, and it's not always a place where you have a big reservoir of talent out there as a well-known relief pitcher, because if they are a well-known relief pitcher, people are gobbling them up. Because relief pitchers basically evolve out of starting pitchers. As they come out, they may lose their starting pitcher position in the rotation, and they start to become a reliever, and then some of them develop into good relievers. But that is that takes some time, and I guess my point is, you can look around, you can find second basemen, you can find starting pitchers, but it's harder to pick relief pitchers out of the hat because I think if they're good, they're going to be protected. People are going to hold on to them.
But you got the situation again with the Diamonds where they recognize that, okay, we're having this problem in the bullpen. Shaw Fuss, get
right,
to the pen.
Exactly. And that's exactly what I'm talking about as far as the development of relief pitchers, because the Diamonds have done exactly that. Michael Gunn is going to be pitching tomorrow night. He lost his starting role because he had a blister on his finger and missed a couple of his starts, and then a couple of these other starters had good times out. So he is in the bullpen, but now he's going to be back in the starting rotation, and that's a good thing for him. And then on Thursday, it'll be Tyler Steyerwalt, but the starting opportunity for the Diamonds. And they're set with their starting pitching. They feel wonderful about that. The oddest thing about their relief pitching has been usually in jest and opportunities, but sometimes they've actually been in games that counted. Chad Heiberger pitched when it mattered and got a 1-2-3 inning.
I want to see Jose Garcia.
Oh, you didn't see him?
No, I did. I want to see more.
Oh, more. I know. He's got that great windup, and he's one of those people who looks like, he could play any position in any sport at any time. He's just like
Scott,
born
he looks
athlete.
like he throws hard enough that they don't even necessarily have to teach him another pitch just now. Just go in and throw fastballs for an inning, and we'll probably be okay.
Well, it's my campaign, and I told him this. My campaign is to have him play all 9 positions in one game, because he is someone who could do it without, he wouldn't make a fool out of himself. He'd probably be an all-star in every position, including pitching now. Who knows about catching? Miles says that he's concerned about him injuring himself as a catcher, but I think that's something we could work on. I do know we had a meeting today. We have upcoming events in the second half of the season. They're going to make that also more fun. We have Italian Heritage Night. There's going to be Dollar Taco Tuesdays. There's going to be Aaron Miles Bobblehead Day. That's coming up August 19th, I think, whatever, that Sunday around there. There are a couple other special events coming up, and so it's going to be a lot of fun out at Winter Chevrolet Stadium for the second half, and hopefully that will include winning some ball games. The lineup is a little different tonight too, in the sense that Wallace had been hitting in front of Galletti, sometimes behind Galletti. Now he's back to where he was when the season started, really, down around 6 or 7. But that's and they've got Garcia hitting ninth behind, and so that's Miles seems really concerned about Garcia's hitting, but I don't know. And Valdez is leading off of Marty Carina in the second position, which he hasn't been all season. So it's really there are a couple experiments last week, I think, and I was kind of surprised that this was the result of what came out of those experiments. But I think it's, as Aaron said, it's constantly evolving. You don't make a lineup and that's it, and you don't put someone in a position and that's it. You have to evaluate it constantly and make changes as necessary because things do become different. It's kind of got a little opening day feeling because do they do this every night? They're introducing each position player and then running to his position.
I haven't been here in a long time. It was all the way back to last year since I've been here. So.
Yeah, well, that's a nice thing to do because they're not doing the opening day thing where they introduce the entire coaching lineup and then the lineup and then the starting lineup, which is a nice thing. But it is opening day, ladies and gentlemen. It's 0-0, and everybody is even, and that's a nice thing for everybody. Even the Stompers, it's nice because for them, they've got that in their back pocket, and they can go try and get the second half one. We're getting ready here for the national anthem, and we'll get the ball game going right after that. Here's our Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare almost bursting in active group through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Another fantastic rendition by Claudia Ramirez. That Star Spangled Banner brought to you by Vallejo Firefighters, Local 1186.
Well, if the Diamonds can hit the ball like Claudia Ramirez belted that out, then they'll be doing all right. See, that was a stirring rendition of the national anthem. We've heard a lot of good renditions, actually. She did a fine job.
P.J. Phillips, your interstate starting battery, Amy Garcia and Peter.
Admirals are out on the field, warming up, getting ready for game number 1 of half number 2 of season number 2017. And we are here at Wilson Field in Vallejo for the first time this year due to a scheduling quirk. The reason for this weird schedule, apparently, is that the Diamonds have an agreement with the city of Pittsburgh that is among the best as far as availability of the field is concerned, and they have first call, in fact, perhaps only call, on the use of Winter Chevrolet Stadium, and so they can schedule whatever they want to schedule. Other teams in the league have to deal with Babe Ruth playoffs and other types of playoffs on their fields, and so that means sometimes their stadiums are not available. So the burden then falls on Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh had 24 home games out of 39, in the first half of the season. 24-15 was their record. 24-15 away games, and it's going to be the reverse in the second half, and that's going to make it an uphill climb in some ways because you got to play 24 away games compared to 15 home games. This is away game number 1 out of the 39. They'll play 3 games here in Vallejo, go on to Sonoma for 3 this weekend, and then back home to play the Admirals Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for the only remaining games in the month of July in Pittsburgh. So if you want to get tickets for that, you should hurry up and join us by going to diamondsproball.com, where you'll see the whole schedule and tickets for the first game of the second half at home, which is next Tuesday night in Pittsburgh. We are ready to go here with Audemars Valdez headed to the batter's box and headed to the microphone to bring us all the action. The voice of the Diamonds, Tony Schultz.
Thank you very much, Scotty. Away we go here with the second half. Audemars Valdez will lead it off. Javier Martin Correa is in left. B.J. Gwynn at third. Vinny Galletti at first. He's the cleanup hitter. Jaku Calderon, the DH. Wes Wallace, the center fielder. Gerald Bautista, the former Admiral, is in right. McKeon, the catcher. Jose Garcia bats ninth, and he plays short against Pete Reyes, the former reliever. Swinging a ground ball. Reyes off the mound to get it. Toss over to first, and quickly 1 down. 1 pitch, 1 out. Here to start the game, and the second half of the season, just like that, is underway. Akins, Pugh, Clark from left to right in the outfield. Fornacci, the Diamonds' old friend David Kiriakos at short. Gomez, Durkee around, that's third to first to the infield. Davey Garcia is the catcher for the aforementioned Pete Reyes. So here's Javier Martin Correa now to step in.
I don't think he's batted second all season long. I think this is the first time he's in this position.
So he's moved up. B.J. Gwynn in that coveted third spot waits on deck. Right-handed batter. And the first pitch from Reyes, and that is in there. A strike. And our home plate umpire tonight is Ron Adams. Our field umpire is Mark Beller. And Claudette Ramirez was one of the best renditions of the national anthem that I've heard in a long, long time.
She got the vote from the press box.
And the 0-1 pitch, and that is inside for a ball. Very colorful game tonight. We got the fruit bowl going here.
Oh,
the
boy.
Lemons and the oranges.
Oh, I got more to say about that.
Ooh, now. Should have brought my shades.
Marty Correa comes in here at 289. He has 3 home runs and 22 RBIs.
Marty waits, the 1-1 pitch, and that is in there, a strike. And they count 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Diamond left fielder.
This is among the best places to hit in the league, according to Miles. But he says one of the reasons is you never know where the ball's going to go. It might bounce into a hole, bounce around the batter. So you're going to get a couple extra base runners because of that.
Good numbers on Peter Reyes. So apparently he's been able to keep the ball off the barrel of the bat, coming in with a 1-0 record, a 1.89 earned run average, and a converted reliever because, well, some of the help that they needed, a check swing, they're going to appeal down to Mark Beller at first base, and he says no swing, count 2-2. But one of the problems that the Admirals have had has been with starting pitching, so they're going to take one of their better relievers and make him a starter and hope that will be the cure to some of their problems in that starting rotation, and time will tell if that's the fix they needed. Right-hander kicks and fires, and the pitch swing and a foul off to the right side and out of play, and that'll head toward the cars. And there's they don't have all the sound effects Sonoma does.
No.
But everybody has the window-breaking sound effect.
Yes. Someone is working overtime in Sonoma on those sound effects.
Oh, Lord.
And they're still a mystery. Some of them are still a mystery. So we don't.
But some of the obscure things that they've pulled out. Some of the stuff I hadn't heard in years. Next pitch to Marty. Swing. Lifts this one in the air. Right center field. The center fielder coming over. That's Tillman Pugh. He races into right center to make the catch. And 2 up and 2 down. And that'll bring up B.J. Gwynn.
Yeah, that looked like it could have been a collision course between Pugh and Chevy Clark, but Clark backed off and Pugh made the catch, run into his left.
So Odomar bounced out to the pitcher. And Marta Carrena has flown out to center. And here's B.J. Gwynn, who the Diamonds re-signed recently. He's been off to a slow start since coming back. Here's the pitch to B.J., and that is outside for a ball. But before he went up to the Atlantic League and played for the Canaries out in South Dakota, he had really shown very bright for the Diamonds in his short time last year. His pitch is in there for a strike. In fact, he put up some fantastic numbers with the Diamonds and really was in that situation where pitchers just couldn't seem to get him out. He was hitting over 400 through most of his tenure with Pittsburgh. Swinging a foul off to the left side, and that'll get out of play.
Okay, someone's going to need to call collision repair. That's 643-2519.
That they said they had that collision sound right after
Yeah,
that
they
huge truck
do.
went by. If it was a collision, I think it was.
Well, yeah, I think that was a bus over there, and boy, that was one of the loudest buses I've ever heard.
Yeah.
All right, Gwynn waits. Righty-lefty matchup here. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a foul left side, and that'll get out of play, and the count remains at 1-2. So Gwynn trying to keep it going. Vinny Galletti waiting on deck. We could talk about the Admirals when they come up and how, when we saw them earlier in the season, Scott, so many of those batting averages were well over 300. Nobody hitting over 300 in the Admiral lineup now.
It's interesting how infectious it was, both the good hitting and the bad hitting.
1-2 pitch, inside for a ball. Just had to limbo out of the way of that one, and the count goes to 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody aboard. And Gwynn trying to keep it alive and get Galletti up there in the first. Two pitch, swing, ground ball to second. Gomez ranges over. He's got it. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Pete Reyes. And after a half an inning here from Wilson Park in Vallejo, no score for Pittsburgh and the Admirals coming up.
Coming out to opening night number 2. And don't forget those foul balls that turn into a cake if you take them to the merchandise stand. Foul balls, when you track those down, kids, you can also take them to concessions for a free snack. So you got a couple options there. And don't forget the League of Chefs tomorrow. Chefs number 3. And that is a lemon chicken skewer. Go to VallejoAdmirals.com/League of Chefs to find out more and how to order. On the other end of the spectrum, it's hot dog night here tomorrow. All hot dogs are $1 off tomorrow here at the ballpark. And we're also having a hot dog eating contest. So if you think you're the next Joey Chestnut, you need to find our man Chris Owens going around looking for contestants tonight in tonight's game. So we'll be seeing if you qualify for a hot dog eating contest tomorrow. And be sure to get in on the Saks hot dog sack race in the middle of the second. He's going to be looking for contestants for them. Chris Owens coming around. This is how you win prizes. You can win prizes by being in our between inning games here at Wilson Park. You can have a chance to win gift cards, in fact, to Grocery Outlet as well. And at concessions tonight, we of course have our 3 microbrews available. We've got Mare Island Brewing Company. They've got their Angles and Dangles and the Saginaw Ale. We've got Brew Hole's Pilsner here and the Napa Smith Golden Gate IPA. All, in fact, a little bit cheaper than the tasting brews. So go get some of that here at Wilson Park.
All right, here we go for the bottom of the first inning. It'll be Tillman Pugh, the center fielder, to stand in. David Kiriakos, the Diamonds' old buddy, he's at shortstop. Mike Blank is the DH today. He bats in the third position. Nick Akins is the left fielder. Graylin Durkee's at first. Chevy Clark is the right fielder. Chris Fernacci is at third base. Davey Garcia behind the plate. Vladimir Gomez at second base. And this lineup will face Travis Blackley for the Pittsburgh Diamonds, left-hander out of Melbourne, Australia. And the former major leaguer now gets set to face the Admirals. And here's Tillman Pugh to lead it off. The middle of the diamond stays back as he takes a strike, and the corner infielders creep in just a little bit.
We are on
he may bunt.
We're on Bay Area Sports.tv again tonight, and some beautiful shots here. It's nice to see the different angles they can get in a different stadium, and some great shots of Blackley there.
Swing and a miss, and they count 1 ball and 1 strike. And there you see it from the home plate angle.
Vinny Galletti. We're going to see. They're going to be here for tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. So if you are interested in watching us on streaming live on BayAreaSports.tv.
The 0-2 pitch. And a called strike 3 on a breaking ball, or might have been a changeup, but that is good enough for strike 3. 3 pitches and 1 out as Tillman Pugh strikes out looking. And here's David Kiriakos, who spent last year with the Diamonds and played a lot of that middle infield position. Didn't hit all that much and did have some problems in the field. That was kind of one of the reasons they went out and got Otomar Valdez and Jose Garcia.
Yeah, that's not a good position to have a few problems right up the middle of the infield.
Swinging a foul back by Kiriakos. It certainly wasn't only him, and there were some other problems there. But before the season started, one of the things that Aaron Miles and the Diamond Brain Trust identified was, well, up the middle part of the infield we've got to get much better defensively there. Here's the pitch to him, and it's way up high. And even though the Diamonds have, had some of their, clunker games with their defense, they've made some miscues. Overall, though, the fielding percentage, best in the Pacific Association. 1 ball, 1 strike, and the pitch. That's way up high, and they count 2 balls and a strike to David Kiriakos. Pittsburgh defensively. Marta Corena, Wallace, Bautista. Left to right in the outfield. Gwynn, Garcia, Valdez, Galletti. Third to first in the infield. McKeon behind the plate, and Blakely winds and pitches. Check swing. They'll appeal, and yes, says Mark Beller, the first base umpire, and we haven't seen that in a long time, Scott.
No, we've been missing that from the. But maybe it's an early season thing. It's opening day. Kiriakos hitting .250 and 3 RBIs coming in there. He's only had 28 at bats.
Vallejo shortstop waits, and the 2-2 pitch is outside for a ball, and the count goes full now. 3-2 with Blank waiting on deck. Diamonds went down 1-2-3 in the first. Tillman Pugh has just been disposed of on 3 pitches, and now a full count pitch to Kiriakos. Here it is, and that's a called strike 3 on the inside part of the plate. Kiriakos kind of sliding out to get out of the way of that ball. It's going to be a called strike 3. So 2 strikeouts looking, and here's Mike Blank, the DH, with the bases empty.
Blackley, the first time he pitched against Sonoma, he pitched a shutout of 5 innings, but he was in trouble constantly, and it never felt like he was really in command of that game, I didn't think. The second time, he felt much more comfortable. It seemed much more comfortable. He gave up 3 runs with 7 innings. And tonight, right at the beginning, he looks very much in charge.
Big swing and a miss here on a fastball. It doesn't catch up. Count 0-1. And Travis coming in, no wins or losses, but a .245 earned run average. And the guy that the Diamonds are counting on to give them quality innings here in the second half. And the next pitch, swing and a miss. Maybe he did catch a piece. And anyway, in any event, the count goes to 0-2. But the word was that other teams were looking at Travis, teams up higher in the food chain. And the Diamonds can only hope they can keep him around long enough to make a difference here in the second half. Here's that breaking ball. It spins a bit low, and the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, I want you to know I heard a big rumor about the Diamonds today.
Ooh, spread rumors, please, Scott.
Yes, I will. And
unsubstantiated rumors,
unsubstantiated rumor with a capital R.
Here's a pop fly, right side. Galletti giving chase, foul ground. Overruns it and can't make the play. So I'll look to the official score and wonder if that shouldn't be an error or not, because every time I make a decision on that, somebody changes it on me. And we're getting so we're just going to say foul ball. I thought I knew how to call those fairly well, but every time I did, Aaron Miles and others overruled me. And frankly, my feelings were hurt.
Called what? I'm sorry?
You're going to say just a foul ball there, so they count 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's a new life here for Mike Blank.
There's a warning track along the fence there from foul territory, which is a good thing because you don't want to run into the fence. But there's
that pitch is a called strike 3 on the inside part of the plate. So 3 strikeouts all looking here in the first inning for Travis Blackley. So nothing across for Vallejo in the first. After 1 full, Vallejo and Pittsburg, no score.
Hey, they're having a car wash this Saturday at 1516 Solano Ave, where their studio is 1516 Solano Ave, 8:30 a.m., 2 p.m. A car wash for their leadership camp, fundraising for the end of August. Soaring Eagles, Taekwondo. Soaring Eagles, Taekwondo, 1516 Solano Avenue, here in Vallejo. Leading off the second inning for Pittsburgh.
All right, here we go for the top of the second inning. It'll be Vinny Galletti, the league's leading hitter, coming in at .419 as we finish that first half. And if you look, 3 diamonds on the top of that list. Calderon and Wallace behind him, .325 and .324 respectively.
and they're still 100 points
Yikes.
behind. It's amazing.
That pitch is outside, ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. Galletti, Calderon, and Wes Wallace, just like the order
Do you think
in
that's the key?
the batting list. Swing and a foul up and over the screen on the left side of the count, 0-2 to Vinny Galletti. Vinny was hitting, quite a bit better, but you and I had a chance to talk about it, Scott. Even though the average went down, it went down grudgingly, and just the fact that he was so up there for so long, how you have to maintain such a high level
Right.
for it not to be reduced is just almost impossible.
Even a good night knocks your average down.
That one is low for a ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Or 2 and 2, pardon me. 2 and 1. Now I'm getting all mixed up. And the electronic scoreboard's working for balls and strikes, unlike Sonoma.
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Swinging a foul ball.
I was going to bring up the fact that this the cut line between the warning track and the grass down the right field line before you go into the fence in foul territory looks like it was driven by someone at my last wedding reception I attended. I've never seen a more unruly line in my life, but I hope whoever drove and cut that line is okay.
All right, Galletti waits. 2-2 pitch, and that one is hit into left center field. Outfielders giving chase, and that one is going to be on a bounce. Galletti heading in for second to throw offline. Not even close, and it's going to be a leadoff double for Vinny Galletti, and here comes Jaku Calderon with a chance to drive in a run.
Pittsburgh designated hitter number 34, Jaku Calderon.
It looked like Vinny hit that one all that hard, but he certainly found the right spot that time.
Good play by Pugh in center field to come over and barehand the ball as it was bounding towards the fence and throw it back in, but Galletti had plenty of time to get into second.
And here's Calderon, another lefty-righty matchup as the right-hander Reyes throws on a swing and a foul tip. And that's strike one. So Calderon put up a nice year. His father passed away earlier in the year, and he was away from the team for a while. And during that period, they picked up Gerald Bautista, who finished with the Admirals at 292. Hasn't done quite as well with Pittsburgh, but certainly a quality bat to add to your lineup. Reyes will look back at second, and the strike one pitch swing and a little ground ball to second. Gomez has it. He'll throw him out at first over to Durkee. And on the play, Vinny Galletti will take third base. So a productive out. And the Diamonds now with a runner at third with less than 2 outs.
That was a good. That's a good at-bat for the Diamonds because they get to move Galletti up to third base. Although, you're kind of looking for a little bit more out of Calderon, but at a minimum, that's a good thing.
So here's Wes Wallows, who had a very good first half for Pittsburgh, but as of late had some trouble with the strikeouts, and the pitch to him is in there, a strike, and the count 0-1, and that's exactly what the Diamonds don't want right now. A ground ball to one of the middle infielders, Scott, should get it done. A fly ball to one of the outfielders, reasonably deep, would also get it done.
He's had the trouble, it seems, with a pitch that's low and away, out of the strike zone. And just not biting on it. I don't know if see if the work he's been doing comes through.
Next pitch is in there, a strike, and the count 0-2. So he sees a couple of pitches from right-hander Pete Reyes, takes them both for strikes, and he's in the hole right now with the aforementioned Bautista waiting on deck. Reyes winds and fires the 0-2 pitch, is outside, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Reyes born February 12th, 93. I hate when they just give me the date of the birth, because then I have to actually do math to figure out how old he is. That's always a little tough. 5'10", 190 pounds. Here's the pitch, swing and a foul back as Wallace stays alive.
I noticed today at 7-Eleven, I think, that if you were born on this date, before this date in 1996, it was, then you're not old enough to buy booze.
But you can buy more than 2 sodas at one time.
And you can buy cigarettes.
Okay, there you go. Swing and a foul left side. So West staying alive. So Reyes comes to the Admirals in 2017 as the #1 overall selection in the Pacific Association draft. Grew up in nearby Benicia and actually was born in Vallejo. And he's a San Francisco State alum, fellow Gator. Not sure if we actually had a motto or not, to be honest. His pitch is way up high.
I never realized San Francisco State is the Gators.
It's the Gators.
Because of the huge number of alligators roaming the streets of San
That's
Francisco?
a good one.
Is that...
I did a couple of games there when I was attending there years ago, and I called it the Swamp. Thought I had come up with something great. Said, no, they always called it that. Oh, okay.
Well,
swing and a miss at the high fastball, and down he goes on a big strikeout situation there. And what does Reyes get? He gets the strikeout. 2 down now, and here comes Bautista.
I think if you're San Francisco State, I think your mascot should be Foghorn Leghorn.
I mean, I like Foghorn Leghorn, but...
Fog and the Fog.
Okay, Foghorn.
Fog was the idea.
That's true. There you go, because he's such a loud, obnoxious chicken.
The more the Fog aspect.
Here's Bautista now in a big spot. Breaking ball stays inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Reyes went to Benicia High School nearby. And the pitch, and that's a check swing. That's going to be a strike. So he could not hold up there for Gerald.
Sarah Gronton, our new assistant general manager, also a Benicia High graduate. And was happy to be playing in Vallejo, very close to home.
1-1 pitch, swing, and that one's lifted deep into the air, right center field. Tillman Pugh going back, still going back, still going back. He can't get it. It's off the wall. A run scores, and here's Bautista racing around second. He'll make it to third without a throw, and it's an RBI two-out triple for Gerald Bautista, and the Diamonds have their first run of the second half of the 2017 campaign. You talked to Aaron Miles earlier, and he was talking about timely hitting. There you go.
You're right about that. We also talked about Bautista coming back to the Admirals and what kind of moment that is for a player. You know, the team traded him away, and you may have too many players at a certain base, but clearly they didn't think you were at the top of the list. so you come back in here, and you get your first at bat, and it's a triple that turns Tillman Pugh. He did like an entire 360 at the wall, trying to get that, made a tremendous effort on his behalf.
Sure did.
And I think he's going to be looked at by a trainer or someone because it was a big effort. He could not catch the ball, but he's now standing out there. He looks okay, but the trainer made the long run, so she might as well check it out.
Well, we are up here above the grandstand here in Wilson Park in Vallejo, behind home plate. So when you look out to center field, that is as far as it can go, or it looked like he hit it as far as he possibly could without actually hitting the ball out of the ballpark. So Bautista gave it some kind of ride, and the Diamonds on the board here 1-0. And Alex McKeon will get a chance here to bat in the second inning. 1 on, 1 in, and 2 out.
Right at the 370-foot sign, he's out there doing his pirouette, trying to catch that ball. And it sounds like you're trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny, but an incredible effort. But it was a difficult. He just was in the wrong position, and he couldn't quite get there. He made a great run to get to the spot, but not able to make the catch.
Now McKeon trying to drive in a 2-out RBI, and that one on the outside corner for a strike. So Galletti doubled. Calderon bounced out, getting Vinny to third. Wes Wallace struck out, and Bautista wrapped a triple near that 370 sign out there in left center, and the pitch, and McKeon fouls this one off left side.
And he signed it on the way. Hey, Admirals, take this.
Well, I mean, they can say all they want, but it's like when you get rid of them, it's like, oh, we have too many guys at first base, but it's like your girlfriend telling me, it's like, well, I have too many boyfriends, so I have to get rid of a couple, and you're one of them.
You're on the bottom of the list, buddy.
There's just no way to make that sound good.
By the way, Scott, we've got a couple of new announcers.
And you're not one of them.
Yeah.
That one's inside for a ball. So Bautista comes back to hurt the Admirals here in game 1. He's down there at third base, hoping that McKeon can drive him in and keep it alive for Jose Garcia. Righty-righty matchup here, and the pitch is going to be just outside. And the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Game number 1 of this 2017 second half campaign. There's a good look at Peter Reyes. Local kid comes set, swing, one foul right back to the screen, and the count remains at 2-2.
It's important to note that even though the teams all go back to 0-0, the individual statistics do not go back to the very beginning. They don't have a half season champion. Otherwise, Bautista would be leading the league in RBIs.
2-2 pitch to McKeon, swinging a ground ball to short. Kiriakos has it on the hop, fires across to Gerke, and the inning is over. But the Diamonds do come up with a run, and after 1.5 here from Wilson Park, Diamonds 1, Admirals nothing.
Thank you, Tim. Yeah, the kids of Soaring Eagles Taekwondo are doing double duty. Okay, you're
And then Chevy Clark, the right fielder, the first three to face Travis Blackley. Well, Nick Akins, who finished up high in the home run parade, he finished with 8. And unfortunately, there was a Stomper and a Pacific finishing in that first and second spot.
Akins is in left field, doesn't he? But we usually see him at first base, or is that a different position for him, or he's always out in left field? I don't remember.
Durkee's the usual first baseman.
He is. I've seen Durkee at second.
Strike.
Durkee plays.
He's played
anyway,
second, yeah.
But I do know that Akins doubles as the hitting coach.
No balls and a strike to Nick Akins as we begin the bottom of the second inning. In there, a strike. And the count goes to no balls and 2. So Akins, Durkee, and Clark, all members of that over 300 club for the team early on. Trying to rekindle that magic. Big breaking all there by Blackley, and that is strike 3. So he has struck out 4 straight, the first 4 that he has faced. And here comes Graylin Durkee, the first baseman. So Travis Blackley right now just 4 up, 4 down, all by the way of the strikeout, and Pugh, Kiriakos, and Blank all looking in the first, and now Akins swinging here to start the second. Lefty-lefty matchup here. And Travis into the windup, and the pitch high and in, 1 ball, and no strikes. You look at Durkee, and you look at his build, left-handed batter. If you changed uniforms, you would think he's Vinny Galletti.
But a little, it does.
Similar build. I mean,
might be a little lighter than Galletti. But
swinging and a foul ball. It may be. That's a good point.
So I brought up the specter of this rumor, but I haven't told you what the rumor is, and that also allows you to bring up official. Well, I don't have an official denial. I have an official, I don't know, from the person who should know. So that's interesting. Said, all right, Scott, what's the rumor?
And the 1-1 pitch, breaking ball in there, a strike, and the count 1-2.
So what do you think about a new relief pitcher to solve some of our problems named Tim Lincecum?
Wow. Wow. I think that would be great for attendance. That pitch is a called strike 3 on the outside corner. 5 up and 5 down, all by the way of strikeouts, as Durkee is the latest victim, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Chevy Clark. That would be
the only problem,
a windfall for the Diamonds.
There's a problem. The person who heard the rumor but knew nothing about the situation is our own Karam Shah, who owns the Diamonds. So and you think, oh, well, if he's hearing that there's a rumor, maybe there's not much to it. But he also refused to say that it wasn't happening. So it would certainly be a huge moment.
You know, just to get his name out there, it would be fantastic for the club. There's a strike. Count 0-1 here to Chevy Clark, the right fielder. So far, Blackley has been on his game. The strike 1 pitch, swing and a miss at the fastball, and the count 0-2.
This is we're only we're 5 batters through, and this is number 6, but it's already kind of stunning to watch, and you have to pinch the position players to make sure they stay away.
2-strike pitch, swung on it, missed strike 3, and the beat goes on. 6 up, 6 down, all strikeouts here from Travis Blackley, and that'll do it for the bottom of the second. So we'll go to the top of the third. It's the Diamonds 1 and the Admirals 0.
Wouldn't that be wild?
August. They've got students ages 6 to 17 here today.
You know that part of American Pie where they say the marching band refused to yield? I think Taekwondo may refuse to yield.
And who's going to mess with them with those moves?
Right, exactly.
I'm not. But I would say, with all that great power comes great.
Oh, say it ain't so, Grasshopper.
Of course, that's not mine. That's Spider-Man.
Say it ain't so wasn't part of it, was it?
So here's Jose Garcia to lead it off as we go to the top of the third inning. Diamonds 1, Admirals nothing. And it's been the Travis Blackley show so far as he struck out the first 6 that he has faced. But a long way to go here from Wilson Park. Lights have come on now and still plenty bright, so it'll be a while before they take effect. Garcia shows bunt, pulls back. It takes a ball. It's one ball and no strikes. And Jose really did so many things well for the Diamonds. He really solidified that shortstop position. Reyes comes set, and the next pitch is inside for a ball, and the count goes 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, a lot of these ballparks were built just because here's the space. You can build a ballpark, and in fact, I guess the outfield has to go there because you can do that and it fits whatever. But this ballpark has the most intelligent sun situation of any in the league where it's not a big factor.
This one's hit pretty hard into left field, going back, unable to get there. It's over the head of Nick Akins, and there goes Garcia as this one gets down to the wall, and Garcia will have himself a leadoff double. And that's how the top of the third inning begins for the Diamonds, and now back to the top of the order for Odomar Valdez.
In Pittsburgh, the sun shines for half the game right in the eyes of anybody who plays shortstop, third base, or left field. And in Sonoma, the sun is a big problem with the shadowy effect it has between the mound and home plate because of the trees that only partially block out the sun. That's a big problem. And it also is a big problem for the right fielder a couple times. It can barely see the ball if the sun is going down in the right spot.
And here it looks like the right fielder, maybe the right side of the infield, but I don't think anybody's had any problems so far. This one fouled off left side by Odomar as he's trying to move Garcia up with the bunt, and the count 0-1.
Yeah, here the sun goes down way off in the left center field corner. I mean the left corner, and you'd have to get an odd ball for it to really have the sun in your eyes here, and that's a nice difference.
Take a look at the Diamonds dugout over there down off the first base side, and the pitch swung on. That's going to be into right center field, left center field. That's going to be a base hit. Here comes Garcia around third. He will score without a throw, and the Diamonds lead it 2-0. So it's an RBI base hit for Odomar. Diamonds 2, Vallejo nothing, and now here comes Javier Marta-Corena.
Right out of the textbook timely hitting manual. They get a double and then the single to knock them in, and they get the run and a 2-0 lead.
That's how that combination has been. And, earlier in the season, production was coming from Odomar fairly well. The average had dipped down a little bit, but he was stealing bases and for the most part playing good defense. But his hitting has certainly improved over the last few weeks of the first half of the season. He picks up right where he left off here with an RBI base. And he has to dive back in here, and he is going to be picked off of first base. So Reyes with a good move over there and a dive back in, not enough to get Odomar back in. So officially that'll be a caught stealing for Odomar as Reyes picks him off first base with Durkee applying the tag.
He must have had some lead. I didn't see it. I looked over and I saw this desperate dive back at second base. It looked like at first base. It looked like it had no hope of being successful, and it was not.
Marta-Corena takes up high. And for Marty, flew out to center field his first time, so he's 0 for 1. Bases empty, 1 down, 1 in for Pittsburgh. Tallied 1 each in the first and second, and here's one hit hard into center field. And again, Pugh going back, still going back, and he's able to make the catch, twisting around, reaching up, and making the grab is Tillman Pugh. That one looked awkward as well, but it was successful as he gets it for out number 2.
Yeah, all's well that ends well. He had a little bit of tough time, but that's part of that is just the speed with which he covers the ground out there to get to the ball, and he did an excellent job that time again, and this time was able to hold on to it for out number 2. So the Diamonds have hit the ball really well 3 times, and they got 1 run and 2 outs.
Here's BJ Gwynn now. Left-handed batter takes outside for a ball, and BJ bounced out to Gomez at second base his first time. There's a look at BJ in the box. If you're watching on BayAreaSports.tv, the pitch to him was way outside for a ball. And if you're listening on Mixler.com, BJ stand, but that's an open stance. Waving that bat up and down, and the pitch to him way up high for a ball. That's 3 balls and no strikes to BJ Gwynn. BJ in his first go around with the Diamonds was a shortstop more often. And defense wasn't quite what the Diamonds had hoped, but the offense was absolutely incredible. Here's the pitch, and that is in there for a strike. And so far in his second go around, it hasn't quite picked up the offense, at least not yet. But those games in Sonoma that I was with you, Scotty played third base rather well. 3-1 pitch is up high, ball 4. So he'll continue the inning now, and Vinny Galletti will get a chance.
And we'll get a chance to see Gwynn in a running position here. You might be thinking about heading to second base.
I'd say it's a pretty good chance, a situation to steal. If you do get caught, then you would have Vinny leading off, followed by Calderon. Or do you want to just let Vinny hit with a runner on base? Swing, and that was hammered to second base. Gomez reaches out to his left, makes the catch, and the inning is over. So a lot of shots hit by the Diamonds. They get 1, they leave 1, and at the end of 2.5, it's the Diamonds 2, the Admirals nothing.
Take it away, Chris.
Thank you, Tim. Eric Contestant in front. But you're on the third base. The winner of this race will win a free sack top off. Contestants will be lining up here. Right across the line. Oh, what did Tom? He said it's me, baby. That kid loves his sacks. All right.
For every home series. Leading off this bottom of the third for the Admirals, third baseman number 11, Chris Fornacci.
All right, bottom of the third we go. Chris Fornacci to lead it off, followed by the catcher Davey Garcia and the second baseman Vladimir Gomez. Bottom third of the order to face Travis Blackley, who's, well, been perfect through 2 and has struck out all 6 that he has faced.
I was going to say, there's no shortage of superhero movies these days, but they could make one called The Madman from Melbourne, the way he's going, if he keeps this up.
And the first pitch is in there for a strike. And, God, I feel like I was burnt on superhero movies like 5 years ago, and they just keep making more of them. And how many times are they going to redo Spider-Man? I guess every time it makes, $500 million, they'll just keep remaking it.
Yeah.
Here's the pitch, and that is in there for a strike. Count 0-2. I heard it was in its, first week or so of release was another runaway at the box office for Spider-Man. So keeps doing business like that. People want to see it, obviously. Here's the pitch, and that is, looked like it hit his hand, did it?
Oh.
Yes. And Fornacci showed home plate umpire Ron Adams that it hit me, and then Ron was in agreement. So the first base runner for the Admirals is Fornacci on the hit by pitch.
The I think here comes Aaron Miles is coming out to talk about something with the umpire, and I don't know if he does not believe that the guy was hit by a pitch or what. At least he wants an explanation of what went on, I think. It did, you described it exactly the way it happened. It looked like Fernacci turned around and said, hey, that ball hit me, and then Adam said, oh, okay, take first base.
I'll take your word for it. And that doesn't make Aaron very happy.
No.
I mean, if the hitter had to tell you that he was hit by a pitch, that doesn't necessarily qualify as being hit by a pitch, and Aaron all smiles, turns and walks away from Ron Adams, then he'll head back to the dugout and we'll resume. So, in any event, the Admirals have their first base runner, and Fernacci down at first base, and here comes the catcher, Davey Garcia. 2-0 Diamonds. They've tallied in each of the first two frames. Fernacci getting a pretty big lead over there, and Blackley looking right down at him. He's going to throw over there, and he's picked off. There's the throw to second base. Chasing him back to first, and did he make the tag or did he miss?
I'm not sure.
I think he missed. He did miss. So, boy, Chris Fernacci, how about Chris Fortunate, because he was picked off by a wide margin.
And now Aaron Miles is back out.
Aaron Miles. Hey, wait a minute. This guy shouldn't be at first base to begin with, and now he should have been picked off, and he's not. Here you see it again on...
Garcia had that ball in the runoff, and he was running, and the base runner was heading back towards first, and he kept running towards him. I thought he should have thrown it earlier, and then he didn't throw it to Blackley, who was covering the bag. He threw it to Galletti, who was kind of in a midway position off the bag, about 6-7 feet. And the base runner, Fernacci, was able to kind of dive underneath Galletti's tag and then get to the base, and so he was called safe. And so there were some errors by the Diamonds on that.
Here's the next pitch way up high. So after Vinny makes his initial throw down to the shortstop at second base, he's got to get out of the way and let the pitcher at the bag take the next throw.
Yeah. It was
that would have given the Diamonds much more time to apply the tag. Here's the pitch, and that is in there for a strike.
It could have been that Garcia was waiting for Galletti to get out of the way, or was, but anyway, it did not go well at the end of that play. Right. And Fernacci's still alive there, bouncing off first base.
Will not be counted as an error, but that is really a miscue by the Diamond defense. Swing and a miss by Davey Garcia, and he's down in the count 1-2. Now, the Admirals, during the course of that first half of the season, had some miscues of their own defensively, and some of them came back to really bite them in some close games. Here's another throw over to first, and this time the runner Fernacci not straying as far away and making sure to get back to the base.
Blackley has a great move to the base, according to Miles, and that was one of the things he wanted the pitchers to learn and school off of him, because his big concern has been holding runners on.
Lazy breaking ball there that stays high, kind of rolled up to the plate.
And Fernacci was clearly fooled that first time, and when he kicked his leg, and then all of a sudden was throwing the ball to first, and that started the whole rundown situation, which ended all in Fernacci's favor.
Front foot at that cut out of the grass over there at first base for Fernacci. Not a big lead over there, and the pitch to Garcia. He has to bend out of the way of that one, and the count goes full now, 3-2. The bottom part of the order here against Blackley, and see whether or not the Admirals want to put a play on here. Runner not going. Here's the pitch, and it's swung on, fouled off right side, and that'll get out of play. We get a nice look over there at the trees beyond the right side here at Wilson Park. You can see the kids down near the bleachers all chasing that foul ball. It's goodies time once you pick up some of those foul ball. There you can see some of them. Swing. This one's pop foul. That'll get out of play. That's right on top of the grandstand. It has kind of an earthquake sound to me.
They're chasing that ball. And the Diamonds bat boy is one of them chasing the ball. At first he was making buddies with the Taekwondo kids, and now he's chasing down the ball. He's got to get back to the dugout and complete his duties.
Same kind of lead for Fernacci at first base, being held on by Galletti. Another payoff pitch, swing and a foul right side and out of play. And Davey Garcia, if nothing else right now, really making Travis Blackley work. So Chris Fernacci hit by a pitch. Had to show home plate umpire Ron Adams that it was so, and Adams agreed, sent him down to first base. He was picked off. Diamonds could not complete the play, however. So he remains there at first base. 3-2 pitch swing, and that was his line. That is going to be a foul ball as it kicks up dirt right next to the third base bag. Ron Adams out from behind home plate, clearly signaling foul right off the get-go there. But boy, that was close to being an RBI double, or maybe even an RBI triple, as that one got down into the corner.
That one was really smacked right over the bag. It went, and of course Phillips, the manager for the Admirals, was doing his best to influence the decision by standing at his third base coaching box and saying it was fair, but
his opinion doesn't count.
No, it didn't count that time.
Payoff pitch again instead of throw to first, and Fernacci back in safely. Wind starting to pick up here a little bit in the grandstand. I can see some of the trees quivering here around Wilson Park. Sun beginning to set here in Vallejo, and the pitch. Swung on and missed at the high fastball, and Garcia out on strikes. 7th strikeout of the ball game already for Travis Blackley.
Garcia put up a huge battle, fighting off pitch, fouling off pitch, went to 3-2, still fouling off pitch. Almost hit a line drive triple down the left field line, and then finally succumbed to Blackley, who looked like his invincibility there was broken for a second, and maybe he's back in the saddle. I don't know.
Well, he went way out of the strike zone on that last pitch to try to get that one to Davey Garcia and couldn't catch up with the fastball, and he's out number 1 here in the third. 2-0 in favor of the Diamonds. Here's Vladimir Gomez, and the first pitch to him. Swing and a miss, strike 1 on the fastball, and the count 0-1. So Davey Garcia certainly gave it a battle, but that's kind of one of those, you strike out and you figure, oh, well, yeah, I gave him a battle, but I still didn't win the war. There goes the runner. Here's the pitch. Swing and hit to the right side. That could be trouble. That is going to be in for extra bases. To the corner it goes. Runner around third. He will score without a throw. Here comes the runner around second, and Gomez is going to have himself an RBI triple without a throw. And the Admirals have cut the lead to 2-1. So Vlad Gomez, the RBI triple. That scores Chris Fernacci. And you go back to the play that Vinny Galletti made when he caught the ball several feet off of first base when the pitcher was actually at first base covering, and the Diamonds, who had a pickoff, didn't get him picked off. And that one comes back to bite Pittsburgh.
It cost them a run right there. And, for the Admirals, who had a miserable first half of the season, they're looking for any spark that says it's going to be different. And that was exactly the kind of spark that they're looking for.
Infield comes in now all the way around. Back to the top of the order for Tillman Pugh. So after those first 2 innings when all the Admirals struck out, they now strike for a run here and look to get the equalizer. The runner at third and Gomez, and less than 2 outs. Strikeout situation here for Blackley. Swing and a miss at the off-speed pitch, and the count goes 1-1. That was a pretty pitch right there.
That some people could think you're being ironic when he's already struck out 7 people, 7 people and 10 batters, but he has been a strikeout machine, and then all of a sudden, boom, a triple.
1-1 pitch, swing, and that went into center field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. We are tied, and this one is going to get away from Wes Wallace. This single is going to turn into a triple. Here comes the cutoff throw, not in time. That is going to be an RBI base hit and a 2-base error against Wes Wallace, who simply overran the ball as he went into right center field. And now a couple of miscues by the Diamonds, and we're all tied at 2 apiece.
I thought that was going to be the replay, but we didn't get to see the ball. I'd like to see the ball bounce in center field. It looked like he simply misplayed it, but that is an odd thing for him to do. Did it would take a weird bounce behind him? I don't know, but it's not been the same Diamonds defense, I'll tell you, in this inning.
And the pitch, swing, and this one in the air to right field. This could be good enough to get a run home. Bautista makes the catch. Pugh tags, here he comes, and he will make it as the throw is not even close. It's a sacrifice fly for David Kiriakos, and the Admirals lead it 3-2.
Now batting for Vallejo, designated hitter, number 50, Mike Blank.
Well, that completely came out of nowhere. Blackley had retired 6 batters, all on strikeouts. The first 6 he faced. Then he gets a questionable hit by pitch call against Fernacci, who then is awarded first base, almost called out in a rundown, but sneaks out of that. And then all of a sudden, there's just flammable liquid all over the Admirals lineup, and they're running all around the bases.
Well, what a difference an inning makes. Here's Mike Blank now. 2 outs, bases empty, but 3 in for the Admirals as they have come all the way back to take a 1-run lead. Here's the pitch now, and that is a check swing and called a ball. It's off the plate inside, and they count 1 ball and no strikes. And Mike struck out looking to end that first inning his first time. So he's 0 for 1. Righty-lefty matchup, and the Admirals have jumped all over the Pittsburgh starter here in the third, and there's one on the outside corner for a strike. And the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1, big curveball there, but kind of rolled up there again. Seen a couple of those tonight, Scott, where I don't know if it's a changeup or a curveball. If it's a curveball, it's not doing a whole lot. Like he's better with the changeup so far today. Swing and a miss. And the count goes to 2-2.
For the Admirals, they got, that's one of those situations you get the 2 runs in, and you still have a runner at third, and they completed it by getting that third run home, just 90 feet away. It makes a big difference, and now they have a 1-run lead.
Big inning here for the Admirals to get off the deck and that early 2-run deficit. A called strike 3. So Mike Blank, for the second time tonight, is out on strikes, but the damage has been done. The Admirals played 3 runs here in the inning, and after 3 full, it's Vallejo 3, the Diamonds 2.
They have their car wash coming up this Saturday, 8:30 to 2.
All right, as we go to the top of the 4th inning, the Admirals have come back after a 2-0 deficit. They lead it 3-2, and for more play-by-play, here's Scott McDonald.
Thank you, Tony. We are happy to be here in Vallejo. It took a long time to get here. It took 39 games. And now on game 40, which is actually game 1 of the second half of the season, we are here, and it is 3-2 Admirals. Calderon stepping in here to lead off the 4th inning. He'll be followed by Wes Wallace and then Bautista. And the first pitch to Calderon outside for a ball, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Calderon in the 2nd inning came up after Galletti had doubled, and he grounded out, moving Galletti to 3rd. The next pitch to Calderon is a strike, and it's 1-1. The Admirals are putting a shift on against Calderon, which we saw a little of in the first half. A couple times against Galletti, we'd see teams put on a shift, but this time they got the shortstop kind of almost to second base, almost, and the third baseman halfway between second and third. This pitch for Calderon is ripped to the right side, and that's going to the right center field area, but it's going to be caught by Chevy Clark in right center field. It looked like it had a chance to carry more distance, but Mr. Clark ran it down, and there's now one away here in the fourth inning. Wes Wallace will step up here, and all eyes are on Mr. Wallace's swing because he has just developed a prolific number of striking out events at the plate. Here's a pitch to him. The first pitch is high and outside for a ball, and it's 1 ball and no strikes to Wes Wallace.
The Diamonds hoping this is just a bit of a slump he's going through and to be able to work his way out of it because he had such a good first half, both offensively and defensively for Pittsburgh.
And he's still amongst the league leaders as he fouls that one back to the screen, and it's 1-2. He's had games with 3 strikeouts and 2 doubles. So it's I don't know what that tells you, but
tells you is you can get away with that, but once the hits stop coming and the strikeouts keep coming, that's where it gets tough.
High and outside for a ball. The count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes, I think.
I mean, we'd all like to have the players to all have the high on-base percentage, hit for power, and do all the things that you want them to do. And those players are few and far between.
This pitch high and outside for ball 3.
It's like if a guy does strike out a lot, but if he's giving you power and he's giving you a good on-base percentage, like you can accept more strikeouts.
Peter Reyes on the mound for the Admirals. This pitch to Wallace is high and outside, ball 4, and Wallace will take a trip to first base. And that'll bring up Gerald Bautista, who had a big welcome back present for his former team with a second inning triple.
That had to have felt good.
Yeah, I'll run all the way around the bases.
Did.
They could not bring him in to score, though, standing there at third base with 2 outs, and they left him stranded. He tripled in Galletti in that situation. So he has an RBI and a triple. Now he comes up here with Wallace on at first base and 1 out. Reyes looks at Wallace. He's being held on at first by Durkee. This pitch is a strike, and it's 0-1.
Gerald's another guy that the Diamonds hope to get going here. He did have a couple of very good games once he came over to the Diamonds, but overall struggled a little bit with the bat, but you'd figure that's going to pick up.
The pitch to Bautista is a ball on the outside, and so it's 1 ball and 1 strike with Wallace moving away from first base slightly. Alex McKeon is on deck. The Diamonds down by a run here in the top of the 4th. Yeah. Reyes looks over at first and then decides to get started all over again. A little process that pitchers will go through, start here, look in, step back. And now a throw to first. Wallace is back in. He didn't have much of a lead.
I mean, there are certainly no guarantees, but you have some guys like a Gerald Bautista and a Wes Wallace. You've seen the way they've gone, and you kind of would figure, well, at some point they'll get back to that type of play. That's at least your hope.
Here's the pitch to Bautista. He bounces to the left side. The third baseman, Fernacci, has it. It's thrown to second for 1 and on to first. Double play. So 5-4-3 double played for the Admirals, and that is going to do it for the Diamonds here in the 4th. After 3.5 innings, the score is Vallejo 3 and the Diamonds 2. Well, Travis Blackley has put on a show of some type here. He looked like he was just going to mow through these Vallejo Admirals with no mercy, taking down the first 6 with all on strikeouts. Got a hit for Fernacci to lead off the 3rd inning. Got another strikeout, but then the bottom fell out of the sack. They got triple by Vladimir Gomez, a single and a 2-base error that put Pugh on 3rd and drove in a run. And all of a sudden now, as Pugh scored on a sacrifice fly, it's 3-2, and the Admirals are back up. And Akins dribbles the ball to Garcia. It's short, and he throws him out on the first pitch. Nick Akins, followed by Braylon Durkee and Chevy Clark. And I do think Vallejo really is in first place as far as names go. Vallejo has the best names. Braylon Durkee, Chevy Clark, I mean, those are good names.
Roll off the tongue nicely. Certainly not typical.
Right, now that names you hear every day. Durkee, the tall, lanky first baseman tonight. We've seen him play a lot of different positions. This one is a strike, and it's 0-1.
We had a lot of those games with the Diamonds, with the Diamonds and the Admirals, where we got way ahead of the Admirals, and you and I were kind of like ready to put the whole thing to bed, and then they would come storming back.
Right.
In a wild affair.
Durkee dribbles this one off to the left side, and it goes foul.
And last Sunday on the first half finale, the Vallejo had kind of the same thing going with San Rafael. They fell behind 11-2 in that game. I talked to Dave Grant, one of the voices of the Admirals, and he told me we got it back to 11-10, and they ended up losing 21-11.
That pitch is high and inside to Durkee, who has to bend out of the way. And if you throw it high and inside to Durkee, you throw it high and inside. That's high. He's a taller of the baseball players you'll see in the. There seem to be more tall pitchers than there are tall batters. The count is 1-2. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and hit to the right side, foul. We've seen a number of balls kind of hug the line here tonight, trying to get into extra base territory, but ending up just foul. That was down the right field line. Durkee, a left-hander, facing the left-handed Blackley. One out here in the top of the 4th, and a 1-2 count on Durkee. The pitch is high and inside again, and he bends out of the way of that one, and it's 2-2. He'll step back in. Not any farther away from the plate than the 2 inside pitches might be trying to make it. 2-2 count. Swung on a wrap right up the middle, but charged in is Valdez, who makes the pickup and the throw to Galletti, and that's in time for out number 2.
Sounded like a broken bat from up here. Durkee looked like he got that one maybe off the end of the bat. It turns into a very routine play. But in that finale on Sunday, Tillman Pugh hit a 3-run home run as the Admirals started to come back in that ball game. But home runs by Brent Gillespie and Jake Taylor. Gillespie actually hit a pair in that game. And those are the 2 guys at top of the home run parade in the Pacific Association. So the Admirals have played a lot of those wild games, high scoring, and you think it's over, and it's just not.
Here's a pitch to Chevy Clark, and he hits the first pitch into right center field. That's a base hit, and it's going to get by Bautista, who goes over to pick it up in right center, bobbles it for a second, throws it back in, and Clark will have a double.
Smash double for Chevy Clark. Here's the guy who got it started in that 3rd inning with that, hey, I got hit by a pitch.
It was an odd situation. The pitch was thrown. It was inside, obviously, and everyone was just kind of standing there. And Fernacci turned and looked to the home plate umpire, and he kind of got this nod in agreement. Oh, yeah, okay. And there he went to first base. And he would soon be scoring. It's 3-2 Admirals, and now they've got another runner in scoring position. Chevy Clark standing at second base, got his lead. Fernacci at the plate. Blackley winds and delivers, and the pitch to him is inside. Well, it's on the inside corner for a strike, and it's 0-1.
Didn't miss the elbow by a whole lot that time either. I kind of expected Chris to give him that elbow point.
He's going to have to do a little more this time, like scream or something. Ow! No balls and 1 strike, the 0-1 pitch. That is low for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
But I'm sure your next discussion with Aaron Miles, you're going to ask him about that. I know Aaron's going to say something to the effect, well, if the guy has to tell you that he got hit by a pitch, that means you didn't see that he got hit by a pitch.
I have, and I have not asked Aaron. I have to say this is my faux pas. That game against Sonoma on Sunday when he came charging out of the dugout, I was so angry, and we weren't quite sure what the cause was. I still have not found out what that is, but I will find that out. I may not get Tim Lincecum to pitch, but I'll find that out. That ball's fouled off to the right side, and it's now 1-1 count, 1-2 count.
Well, Tim Lincecum may be available. That would be exciting, and who knows? Matt Cain could be right behind him.
Matt Cain, for all of his wonderful years as a pitcher, does not quite have the cachet of a Tim Lincecum, and is all of his, the freak and all that stuff.
His first several years were certainly great, though.
1-2 count. My favorite Giants World Series was the middle one, where they had Lincecum hadn't been pitching well. He and the great the great pitcher out of USC, I can't remember his name, came over from the A's. The 2 Cy Young Award winners, and they both hadn't had great seasons, but they both did what they needed to do to help the team win. This pitch is lifted this right side. Valdez says he has it. He makes the catch, and that'll do it for the Admirals here in the 4th inning. So they get a base runner, but that's the best they can do. And at the end of 4 full, the score is 3-2 in favor of Vallejo.
Their instructor out there with him right now. Again, Soaring Eagles at 1516 Solano Avenue.
It's opening day B of the 2017 season. Everyone has got a record of no wins and no losses as we start the second half of the season. The Sonoma Stoppers are the champions of the first half. The Diamonds had an exciting, even thrilling at times, race to that championship, being eliminated with 4 games left in the first half of the season. And now they are determined to put that all in the past as far as falling into second place, and they're looking forward to getting the championship this year. But right now they're not winning. 3-2. They're losing to Vallejo here in the 5th inning, and Alex McKeon steps up here, and the first pitch he fouls at the plate, and it's 0-1. McKeon grounded out to shortstop in the 2nd inning, and that was that. He came up with Bautista at third base after he had doubled in Valdez. He and Heiberger have been sharing the catching spot with McKeon getting most of the starts. This pitch is fouled off to the left, and that's a strike. It's going to be 0-2. Peter Reyes has had a fine night on the mound. It just hasn't been quite as showy as Blackley's, who was striking out everybody you could find and then all of a sudden fell into a hole in that third inning, and the Admirals picked up 3 runs. Now the Diamonds are losing 3-2. Top of the 5th, McKeon fouls it back, and the count stays at 0-2. He'll be followed by Jose Garcia, and then Odemar Valdez. The field is almost entirely in shadows now, with a little bright spot out in deep right center field, and that's about it. And it's rapidly getting cooler here in Vallejo. After a warm day, the pitch is swung on and bounded right back to the pitcher. Reyes takes it on 2 hops and throws him out.
Come back there for a 1-3 put out.
So that is the end of McKeon, and here comes Jose Garcia, who is 1 for 1 with a double, and he scored a run when Odemar Valdez singled him home. Right-handed batter and right-handed pitcher. Reyes takes a while to get himself squared away there, and he comes to the plate, and Garcia smacks it to his counterpart at shortstop. J.B. Garcia, Kiriakos throws him out from his shortstop spot. He got a very nice, he had a couple of those. He said, you couldn't ask somebody to throw you nicer hops. They're supposed to be the land of the bad hop, but he's had some beautiful hops at the shortstop, a couple of nice high bouncing balls right into his glove.
But he did have to wait here so that next hop.
Uh-huh.
And was able to get away with it, get rid of it just in time, because Jose Garcia was hustling down the first baseline and nearly beat that out.
Now Valdez will come up here and see what he can do with 2 outs and nobody on here in the top of the 5th inning. 3-2 Vallejo. The pitch from Reyes is a strike, and it's 0-1.
We're going to talk about our first trip coming into Vallejo here, waiting this long to make the trip here to Solano County. But the Diamonds in those 12 games at Winter Chevrolet Stadium against the Admirals had their way. 8 up, 4 down.
Valdez picked off of first base. Last time he was up, he got the single and drove in Garcia, but then was picked off out there.
We sure did have a few wild ones between these two clubs.
Yes.
If you like run scoring and you like the turning of the tide, as it were, the Diamonds, the Admirals sure provided that on more than one occasion. I think, what do we have, a 13-2 lead? There was an 8-0 lead.
Man, yeah. It was baseball chaos is what it was.
What?
The pitch to Valdez backs him away from the plate, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 down, nobody on here, top of the 5th inning, and instead of baseball chaos, we've got a 3-2 lead by Vallejo, and both starting pitchers have had their moments, but they seem to have gotten themselves back together. Moment through the lineup. This one hits about a foot or more in front of the plate and bounces up to the catcher, Garcia, who's happy to stop it with some part of his body. 2-2 count. Reyes against Valdez. The pitch is very high for ball 3, and now it's a full count to Valdez. On deck is Javier Marty Carrena, hitting the number 2 position tonight, and he will be there if Valdez can keep the inning alive here. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And he's out of the batter's box. What? We were saying, do you know the sun effects when it's right there is my announcing position. Here's the full count. The pitch is high and inside, ball 4, and Valdez will go to first base.
Good at bat for Odemar, and of course, a couple of easy takes on those last couple. And it looked like maybe Pete Reyes just kind of lost the release point with a couple of those because he missed quite badly with ball 3 and ball 4, and we'll give Marta Carrena a chance now.
Marty Carrena up in that inning when the Diamonds did score. They also just had some. Marty Carrena hit the ball almost to the wall, and it was captured by Pugh, who had previously in that inning on Garcia's double. Had almost hurt himself that throw to first, and Valdez is in this time safely. But Marty Carrera hit it out there. Valdez hit the ball. Garcia hit the ball hard, and then Vinny Galletti ended the inning with a line drive to second baseman. So they're hitting the ball like crazy, but they only got one run. That pitch is a strike on the outside corner to Marty Carrera, and it snowballs a one strike with Valdez on at first, thinking about second, but concerned about being picked off, no doubt.
Yeah. Took a little bit bigger lead, then kind of went back to the bag a couple of steps. Learned his lesson from that third inning pickoff.
This pitch is a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
But this would be one of those situations, Scott, where if you do get caught, the second place hitter Marta Carrera would come up to lead off the next inning. So the risk reward in the Diamonds' favor if you feel you can get a good enough lead and a good enough jump.
Valdez leading the team in steals, and he's going. And this pitch is outside, and the throw to second base is going to be on the wrong side of the bag, and Valdez is in safely.
I want to say off the top of my head that's stolen base number 15.
Well, let me just check the top of your head. I think it's number 16, apparently.
Number 16. I think he's been caught 6 times, right?
Yeah.
Make it 7 counting tonight. So the percentage might not be as good as you'd like, but he certainly has been able to swipe a few, and he does have that in his repertoire, and that's always beneficial to have those guys at the top of the order being able to steal bases, especially when you really need them.
And this changes the whole complexion here. This ball bounces up to Marty Carrera. I mean, it was well short of the plate, and if you count the high and inside pitches and the ones that have bounced up, Reyes has had a few times of missing really poorly.
And with that stolen base and being at this ballpark, I'm thinking of Darian Sanford, who broke the Pacific Association record. I believe he obliterated that record last year. And the last I saw, he was in Double-A in the Nationals organization.
2-2 pitch, Marty Carrera back to the pitcher again. Reyes makes the stop and throws him out. Reyes doing a good job of fielding his position and saving himself some blows. He stops that one, and he stops the Diamonds. They are turned away in the 5th inning. They get a base runner, and they get him to second, but that's it. And at the end of 4.5 to score, Vallejo 3 and Pittsburgh 2. Bottom of the 5th inning here at Wilson Field in Vallejo. Our first visit, and it's opening day number 2. The Diamonds looking for their first win of the second half of the season. David Garcia, Vladimir Gomez, and Tillman Pugh will come up to the plate to face Travis Blackley, who has been came out like a streak of lightning, striking out the first 6 batters he faced. Had a big dip in the 3rd inning, giving up a triple. He hit a batter and a single and a sacrifice fly. And all of a sudden, the 2-0 Diamond lead was 3-2 in favor of Vallejo. He gave up a double in the 4th, but got out of that with no runs. And so here we are in the 5th. And the first pitch is right at the head of Garcia, who moves his head out of the way, and that's 1 ball and no strikes. Garcia struck out the first time he saw Blackley. That was back in the 3rd inning. This one is hit off the knuckles, really, and fouled back, and the count goes to 1-1.
It looked like he almost fouled the ball off his chest that time. It was an awkward-looking foul ball right there. But,
that's a look at the Diamonds defense if you're watching us on BayAreaSports.tv, where we will be again tomorrow night and then on Thursday night. So hopefully you can join us for those and some more games this second half of the season. That pitch is a ball, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Debbie Garcia is the catcher for Vallejo. The 2-1 pitch from Blackley is high for ball 3, and it's 3-1. Blackley, a former major leaguer, first made the major leagues in 2009 and played for a number of major league teams, including the Giants and the A's. This pitch swung on and hit down the right field line, and that could be trouble, and it's going to be a fair ball into the corner. Rounding first and heading for second is De Garcia. He almost falls down. The cutoff throw comes into Valdez, and he does not make a throw because Garcia was in safely, but boy, it looked like he was going to trip and fall as he came around first base.
boy, Davey Garcia is showing some opposite field power, though. Kind of swung at that, Scott, with all arms and still got that one on the fly off the wall, just left of the 322 sign down there in that right field corner. He really hit that ball a ton as we take another look right off that ride-on motorcycle sign, and he's got himself a 2-bagger to lead off the inning.
So now there's a runner at second base for the Admirals here as in the 5th inning. Nobody out. Vladimir Gomez steps up here. Gomez hitting in the number 9 slot. He tripled the first time he faced Blackley. Runner at second. And the pitch to Gomez is bound to the left side. Garcia, the Diamonds Garcia, comes over and boots the ball. Jose Garcia came up and the ball bounced into his glove and came right back out.
Well, that's a bad break for the Diamonds right there. And Blackley looked like he had out number 1. Hit it to the right guy, too. And Garcia went over there. Looked like he had plenty of time, or at least he thought he had plenty of time, and then just couldn't quite make the pickup.
Yeah, there was no reason to be in a rush or what else might have been going on, and it was bumped into his glove. It's got to be an error on Garcia, I believe. There's no hit error totals here. There's an electronic scoreboard that has balls and strikes and runs. Here's a pitch. Squares the bunt the ball left side, picked up by McKeon. He'll have to go to first. He does, and the ball is caught by Valdez, and then his hand is run into by Pugh, and now Valdez is injured on the ground, and his hand is hurt. The ball hit his. As Pugh went by, he hit the glove, knocked the ball, if the ball was in the glove at the time, it knocked it askew, and then Valdez went to the ground and holding his right hand in pain, his glove hand, but now someone lifts him up by it, so it can't be too badly. Or maybe his left hand is in pain.
Let's take a look at it here on BayAreaSports.tv. See if we can make out what happened. We'll describe it for those of you on Mixler. Yeah, you can see McKeon coming out from behind the man. Looks like he has it in plenty of time. There's the throw, and it just caught in between the ball and the runner going by, and it looks like a situation where you just jam your wrist.
Yeah. Valdez is going back to his second base position. So Tillman, as that was all happening, Garcia continued to run around third base, and he came in to score. Gomez got himself all the way to third base, and on at first base is Tillman Pugh. So that, I don't know what they're going to rule that to be.
I would say that would probably have to be an error on the throw because it went into sort of the back of the runner.
Did it hit the back of the runner? I thought he caught it.
Almost. I think he ran into the glove side of Odemar first.
Up here next is Kiriakis, and he hits a pop-up down the first base line, and underneath it is Galletti. He makes the catch, and nobody can advance. I don't know if they called. So,
well, that was a big out right there for Blackley.
Yeah, that is the first out of the inning. And there have been one run in, and there are runners at the corners that Diamonds can hope for. a double play ball. They've got Mike Blank at the plate. Runners at the corners. Mike Blank at the plate. At third base is Gomez. At first base is Pugh. Now, if they send Pugh, here's the pitch. Swung on, and that sounded like a broken bat. Picked up by the third baseman. Throw to second for one, and that's going to be all they get. And in to score from third base comes Vladimir Gomez, and there are now 2 runs for the Admirals in this inning, and they lead 5-2.
That'll be a fielder's choice and an RBI. Now that'll get it done, and it makes it 5-2. So in an inning when the Diamonds' defense has not been exactly crisp, with probably at least 2 errors, I would think. They've given up a couple of runs here, and the lead's been extended to 3.
Nick Akins comes to the plate. Runner at first. Now there are 2 down. Aren't they 2 down? Yes, I think they're 2 outs. The scoreboard has 1 out, but it's Akins up here trying to keep the inning alive here. A 5-2 score now in favor of Vallejo with 2 runs in the inning. The pitch. McKeon picks it up off the ground. It hit the plate and kind of stopped there. There's an odd end to that pitch.
Just kind of one of those innings for the Diamonds. They did give up that leadoff double to Davey Garcia, but Garcia on the ball hit by Gomez just misplayed the hop, and there was an error there. And then Tillman Pugh's ball trying to bunt and really sacrifice and trying to give the Diamonds an out, and the Diamonds unable to get that one too.
This pitch bounces up there. McKeon has it. No chance for Blank to move away from first base, so he will stay there. 2 downs. 2 down in the inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Blackley looks fierce here at the beginning and now has had problems. That is strike 3 as Akins swings and misses. And the Diamonds get out of this inning. That was kind of a house of horrors for them. 2 runs for the Vallejo Admirals. They got that on just 2 hits. And we will be going to the top of the 6th inning with the score, Vallejo 5 and Pittsburg 2. B.J. Gwynn will come to the plate to lead off the 6th inning here for the Diamonds, who now find themselves in a 3-run hole. And they looked like they were going to cruise to victory early, and now the Admirals have come back, but they've kept them shy of their usual 8 to 10 run outburst. So that's a plus. There's a pitch to Gwynn. He takes a strike, and it's 0-1. First day of the second half of the season, which is a complicated thing to say, but it's the truth, so we're going to keep saying it.
Second opening day.
The pitch to Gwynn, and he hits this one to center field, and back goes Pugh. He's at the wall. It's going to bounce off the wall. Gwynn's around first and on his way to second. He's got a double, and the Diamonds have got it started here in the 6th inning, or at least that's what they like to hope. Here comes Vinny Galletti with a runner at second.
Well, certainly a good start and a good spot in the batting order to get something going here for Pittsburgh, and that's the B.J. Gwynn that we got to know very well last year, hitting the ball hard and collecting extra base hits. Certainly would like to see more of that as we go through the second half of the season.
Galletti doubled and scored in the second inning and then lined out to the second baseman. He really hit that on the nose. So he has hit the ball well twice tonight. Of course, leading the league by almost 100 points over his teammates. The pitch to Galletti is inside for a ball, and it's 1-0. The Diamonds playing Vallejo tonight and start of a 3-game series. And then they'll go to Sonoma for 3 games this weekend and then be back home against the same Admirals next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at Winter Chevrolet Stadium. Here's a pitch from Reyes to Galletti. It bounces away from Garcia, the catcher, a little bit, but just in front of him. And Garcia and McKeon have something in common, and I think there's a catcher thing that even though the ball seems to get away just a little bit, there's a frantic look. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? And until they have it, and things are back under control. B.J. Gwynn with the lead from second base. Nobody out. Galletti up here with a 2-ball, no-strike count. Reyes winds and delivers. The pitch is bounced at the plate and hits Galletti in the left arm as it bounces up there. He is no worse for wear, apparently, so it's 2 balls and a strike.
The Admirals giving a lot of room to Galletti with Fernacci, the third baseman, playing way off the line, just back a couple of steps from the infield grass. You can see the shortstop Kiriakos kind of shading over there towards second base. So expecting Vinny to pull the ball.
I'm kind of surprised at how shallow the third baseman is playing. The pitch is swung on and missed by Galletti. That's a strike, and it's 2-2.
Well, it looked like a beautiful off-speed pitch that time, and Vinny way out in front. Looked fooled by that one quite a bit, and that is not something you see with Vinny Galletti's swing. He was way out in front of that one.
2-2 count. Runner at second, nobody out, and the Diamonds are down by 3 to Vallejo here. The pitch to Galletti is swung on and missed. Strike 3.
Well, he went a little bit further inside with the off-speed pitch after he fooled Vinny with the strike before that. And then he goes a little bit further inside, maybe a little bit further down, and Vinny with 2 strikes, expanding that strike zone, and he strikes out. And, boy, Vinny looked bad on 2 consecutive pitches there to strike out, and that's just not how we've seen Vinny Galletti very often this season.
J.Q. Calderon steps in here with 1 out and runner at second. The first pitch to him is a ball, and it's 1-0. Wes Wallace is on deck. There is Calderon. The 1-0 count, the 1-0 pitch is fouled at the plate, and it's 1-1. Big, tall guy, imposing figure, until he gets a big smile on his face, which he has a lot. Affable person, and went through a tough time at the end of that first half of the season. His father died, and he went home for the services and spent time with his family, and now back. That's a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Calderon. The Diamonds in their orange jerseys, Vallejo in their bright yellow jerseys. It's a big fashion faux pas, this game. That pitch to Colorado is a ball. It's 2-2. I think there was, we saw the yellow of the Admirals jerseys, and, people would say that's the loudest. There's no one who has anything quite that bright, and until the Diamonds orange jerseys made their appearance sometime after the start of the season. That ball bounces up there, and not far enough for Gwynn to make any attempt at getting to third base. So now we've got 3-2 count on Calderon. B.J. Gwynn is on at second. He led off the inning with a double. Vinny Galletti struck out. Calderon's up here with a full count. Gwynn with his hands on his hips now takes a bit of a lead. He's got the shortstop right behind him in this kind of shift they have for Calderon. The pitch to Calderon swung on and missed at the plate. It gets away from the catcher. Calderon on his way to first. The throw to first will be in time, but Quinn is able to get to third on the ball bouncing away from the catcher. And so now there's a runner at third with 2 down. Calderon almost beat that out.
Oh, nice pitching here by Peter Reyes. After giving up that double to B.J. Gwynn, you thought with Galletti and Calderon coming up, it was Going to be a big inning here for there, or at least the potential for a big inning here for Pittsburgh. But he gets Scaletti to strike out swinging, likewise for Calderon. And now he's got Wes Wallace up there, who's been victimized with a strikeout here again. And Pittsburgh's hoping he gets over the strikeout bug that he's on right now.
He walked his second time up, and he whacks this one to center field, and back goes Pugh again. Still going. It's off the wall. That'll score a run easily, and Wallace is headed to second. He'll get in there easily with a stand-up double.
Well, I'd say he's over the strikeout bug right there as he hammers that one to center field and picks up a huge 2-out RBI, and the Diamonds really needed that after giving up those runs in that last inning with some poor defense. And here they get a couple of doubles and end up getting a run, and just like that, they cut the lead back to 2.
Instead of leaving those base runners on the bases, this time Wallace comes up and whacks him in with a line drive over the head of Pugh to center field. You know, the ball has been hit hard tonight by both teams, and it's I don't know if it's indicative of what, but we were told it was a good place to hit because the ball do crazy bounces, but that has not been the reason.
Hasn't been bouncing until it gets to the fence.
That pitch is outside for a ball. Gerald Bautista steps in here. He tripled his first time up against his old team. His second time up, he hit into a double play. Now Wallace is on his second with 2 down. It's 5-3 in favor of Vallejo. The Diamonds with a run in and a man in scoring position. The pitch to Bautista is outside for a ball, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, it's nice to see Wes Wallace pick up that hit too, because he's had such a good first half and he's been struggling lately. And you want to see these guys get over their struggles and get back on the beam, and at least in that at bat, he certainly did.
The 2-0 pitch to Bautista. It comes in there, and it's ball 3. It looked like it was going to curve into the strike zone, but it just stayed out of there. It's a little bit high, and so 3 balls and no strikes. On deck is Alex McKeon if Bautista keeps this inning alive.
Yeah, not a lot of snap on that one, Scott. A little more snap, and that one probably would have been called a strike.
This pitch is high and outside. That's ball 4, and Bautista will go to first. Wes Wallace is on at second base, and the Diamonds have runners at first and second with now 2 down. The Admirals have somebody warming up in their bullpen, which is right down the long way down the left field line and beyond the fence out there, and we are not able to see that because they're taking a moment to have a conversation on the ground. I see. Now I didn't realize that the guy warming up was wondering, well, are they going to bring me in or what's the story? So out there warming up is Malik Jones, 6'3", 170-pound right-hander. Malik Jones, there he is. You know, Tim with BayAreaSports.tv has a lot better look at it than I do.
Sure does.
My binoculars aren't quite that good. And there you get a good look at Malik. But we're going to continue with Reyes here, who will stay in the game after that conversation. Runners at first and second. There are 2 down. Top of the 6th. 5-3. Vallejo. McKeon is up here to see if he can change any of that. Here's the pitch. High and outside for a ball. It's 1-0.
Well, Diamonds have already made some 2-out noise here, trying to make some more. And Alex McKeon 0 for 2 so far. See if he can put another run on the board.
I don't know what that is on the left side of Bautista's batting helmet you just saw with all the tape. I've got to ask him about that. The pitch is high for a ball, and now it is 2-0. Bautista gets on in a walk, and now McKeon is here with a 2-0 count.
I mean, you hope you don't have to tape together your batting helmet. I mean, I hope it's a little stronger than that.
You would hope if he's had it on ever since he came, so I don't know what it represents, but style. Okay. Well, if it's fashion, why not? But at least we should know that. That's a strike, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. It's the ear of the rising sun or something, it looks like, with the a Japanese flag of some type. Okay, it's 2-1 count. McKeon waiting for the 2-1 pitch. It's inside for a ball. It's 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, Diamonds really making Reyes work, and you'd have to figure here if he doesn't get McKeon, the Phillips and the Admirals would be definitely going to the bullpen.
Jose Garcia standing in the on-deck circle waiting for his opportunity if McKeon does advance the inning. It's a 3-1 count to him, and the 3-1 pitch is swung on a miss for strike 2.
Boy, that looked like it was up high and in, and with a strike to give right there, you think McKeon would lay off and take his chances, because from my vantage point, which isn't a great one for calling balls and strikes, I must admit, but that one looked like ball 4 from here.
3-2 count. Wes Wallace is on to second, Bautista at first. There are 2 down here. Top of the 6th inning, the 3-2 pitch from Reyes. High, ball 4, they're loaded up.
And I got to think P.J. Phillips is going to come out and make a move. Here he is.
That is going to be it for Reyes. And he has put in a good showing. He's responsible for 3 men on there, and they could lose the lead if they'll score. But coming into this inning, he had himself a good outing, even though he had trouble and got out of those situations, and that's part of being a good pitcher. Now coming in for the Admirals will be Malik Jones. Here comes Malik, jogging onto the mound, and Phillips says, go get him, and so do the rest of the infielders. He and Garcia will have a conversation, discuss whatever they need to discuss. He is going to have to face Jose Garcia. He's coming up with the bases loaded. A 5-3 lead in favor of Vallejo and the Admirals, who finished in last place in the first half of the season. Would love to get started on a high note here tonight, the first game of the second half. Everyone starts today with a record of 0-0. That is, and there are 39 games, and it's you think of baseball as kind of a leisurely pace, but when you take a season that is shortened already and you divide it in half, what you get is kind of a baseball sprint, and it doesn't take any time at all to get to the point that you're down to the last month of the season. The Diamonds have a schedule the second half of the season that has them playing the Stompers the last 3 games of the year. And that could mean something. But for it to mean something, they're going to have to win in games like this. This is their first game in Vallejo all season. They did not play here in the first half. They played the Admirals 12 times in Pittsburgh and won 8 of those games. So they did very well. There you see McKeon and the first base coach having a conversation about what they should do. Bautista is on at second base, and at third, Wes Wallace is having the same kind of conversation with Joe Torre, the Diamonds third base coach. Now Malik Jones has completed his warm-ups out here, and he's going to face Garcia with the bases loaded, top of the 6th, 2-run lead for Vallejo.
So Malik Jones expected to provide some pitching depth after being signed in early July. One of those guys they're relying on to help shore up this staff.
Can the Diamonds squeeze some more runs out of those orange jerseys, or is that just a bad line?
Oh, orange squeeze, yes.
Thank you. Pitch. A strike. It's 0-1.
Scotty, I love the way you keep me on my toes with these.
You don't sound delighted.
Ooh.
0-1 count. 2 down. Jose Garcia, the starting shortstop. The pitch to him is whacked to center field. Tillman Pugh has a look at this one. He says, I don't even have to run to get this one. That is it for the Diamonds. Boy, they leave 3 base runners. And at the end of 5.5, the score, Vallejo 5 and the Diamonds 3.
As our contestants exit pit row, let's hand it back down to Chris Owens at the starting line.
Thank you, Tim. I'm down here at pit rows. Our contestants line up. Everyone line up right here behind the foul line.
closest race.
Travis Blackley is out here to pitch the bottom of the 6th inning. He has given up 5 runs. I'm not sure of how many of them were earned, but it is 5-3 in favor of Vallejo. And he will face Graylin Durkee, Chevy Clark, and Chris Fernacci here to start off the 6th inning anyway.
Well,
left-hander Blackley looking to get his career moving again and head back towards the major leagues. He has had 2 starts before this and has not been involved in a decision. He looked a little shaky, but got a shutout the first time. He looked better, but gave up some runs the second time. And I don't know how to describe how he's looked tonight. He's looked absolutely
stunning,
unbeatable at times. Yeah, amazing. And then he's given up some big hits. Here's the pitch. It's low for ball, and it's 1-0.
Faces the RBI leader for this club, Graylin Durkee, coming in with 32. Also the hits leader for the ball club with 41.
The pitch from Blackley, who hits him.
Ouch.
And that had a sound to it. I don't know what the sound was, but it sounded like it hit wood or something.
It almost sounded like, did he have some kind of a plastic protection on his arm inside his... Because that did not sound, or on his elbow, maybe?
Because skin doesn't make that kind of sound.
That sounded like it hit a plank of wood. As we take another look here, for those of you at home, will describe it. And the pitch coming in, boring in, and it looked like, I think there's a...
Maybe he has some protective gear under there that we can't see.
Well, that did not sound like it went off just skin.
So Blackley goes to first, and back in is Durkee. There's something about the way Blackley kicks that leg, that he makes that move to first base, that is deceiving to the runner at first base, because it has caused problems so far, and I've seen runners just kind of take a second before they actually start to move back. That's a strike. And so the count here with Durkee on at first base is 0-1 to Chevy Clark. He'll be followed by Chris Fernacci. Runner at first, hit by a pitch. That's how the whole thing started in the 3rd inning, and all of a sudden they had 3 runs in. When that inning was over, here's the pitch. High for a ball, and of course, Durkee leaned towards second but didn't go.
Of course, that's the first one under dubious circumstances.
That was one.
But I'm not one to complain.
No, I've never heard that. Runner at first, 1 ball, 1 strike. Blackley looks over there, and the pitch is a ball, and it looks like Durkee looks like he wants to go all the time. He's ready to go. It's anything that happens, he's ready to go, which is not a bad place to be if you're the base runner. Hasn't actually made the move yet.
Here's Durkee and Galletti standing side by side. I think they look pretty kind of similar to me.
That is a good opportunity. Maybe there they are right there. Look at that. That pitch is outside.
Well, I know one thing. Both of them can hit.
Both of them can hit, and they're similar sizes. I don't know if yellow and orange are their favorite colors, but there they are. You can certainly tell them apart. Durkee is in the yellow.
Looks like a pack of Starburst out there.
That's 3 balls and 1 strike, the 3-1 pitch. Strike 2.
But when you talk about ugly baseball uniforms, and these they're not too bad to me. I'm kind of used to the bright colors now because it's been around the major league so much. But they were showing those old Houston Astros colors.
Oh, those were hideous. And the Giants had went through their own period of hideous uniforms.
Who came up with that?
Yeah. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Will Durkee go now? We'll see. There he goes. Here's the pitch. It's swung and a bound to the left side. It goes by the third baseman. Stopped by Garcia. Long throw is not going to do it. It pulls Galletti off the bag. He makes the stop. And so now the Admirals have runners at first and second and nobody out.
Well, good choice for Phillips to send the runner there. Because the runner was going to second, it looked like Jose Garcia had to range just a little bit, Scott, towards second base to cover the bag. And then when he saw the ball hit to his right, he had to retreat a little bit. And by the time he got over there, he was just not in time to get the speedy Chevy Clark. And that will be an infield hit for Chevy. And now the Diamonds really in the soup here, trailing it by 2.
Fernacci steps in here. Clark at first. At second base, Durkee. Good bunt from Fernacci, the throw to first is the only play that Gwynn had, and he gets Fernacci at first base. He sacrifices the runners to second and third, and now with one out, coming to the bat will be Debbie Garcia.
Now you got to like when people execute the right play.
Right.
You're ahead by 2. It's getting to middle part of the ball game here. You want to move those runners up and give yourself a chance to extend that lead. And Fernacci does exactly what he's supposed to do, and now Debbie Garcia's job is to drive them in.
And the same even goes for Gwynn, who had one play and he made that play. You know, sometimes you say people make mistakes and try to go the wrong way or something, and you say, well, boy, if we'd only gotten that out. Here's the pitch fouled back.
How many times have we said that?
All one count to Garcia. Big moment here for Blackley and the Diamonds, who are down by 2 runs. And they would dearly love to get out of here without allowing any runs, but that's a tough call because there's only 1 out here, 2 on, second and third. The Diamonds have the infield in all the way across. Blackley is checking out the signs. There's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 1.
We talk about the Diamonds having the best fielding percentage in the league, Scott, and they certainly have improved so much over a year ago, but tonight has not been exactly well defensive. Not been the best defense for the Diamonds here tonight, and those miscues have led to runs scored.
This pitch is bound to left side. Gwynn has it, looks at third to stop the base runner, and then throws to first to get the batter, and that's out number 2.
Yeah, and Gwynn played that one well. It's like he played the first one well on the sacrifice bunt, able to make the glove play, look the runner back just like you're supposed to do, fire to first, and make that strong, accurate throw. So if the runner does break from third, then Vinny Galletti has time to get the ball and fire back to home plate and make the play. So another good job by the Diamond third baseman, B.J. Gwynn.
So now Vladimir Gomez comes up here with Chevy Clark on at second base. Graylin Durkee on at third. He's the one that Gwynn looked back. Don't you dare run. I'm going to throw this to first. And he did. So now it's up to Gomez to see if the lemon-shirted team can squeeze anything out of this inning too.
Oh, you can't use it twice.
Okay, does that violate the sportscasting rule? That pitch high for a ball is one of, if it's a bad line, why pretend it's worth keeping, rare. 1 ball, no strikes to Gomez here, who has scored 2 runs, got on in an error, and has a triple. The pitch to him is swung on and bounded past the pitcher onto Valdez. Valdez scoops it up, throws to first, and got him. The Diamonds shut him down after allowing runners to second and third, and they're going to go to the 7th inning down by 2 runs. The score, Vallejo 5 and the Pittsburgh Diamonds 3. The 7th inning is rearing its head, and we're going to see how that one goes with the voice of the Diamonds, Tony Schultz.
All right, Scotty, thank you very much. Odemar Valdez, who made that nice play off the bat of Vladimir Gomez. And how about that? walking the tightrope for Travis Blackley, getting out of that 2-on, nobody out jam. And the Diamonds playing some good defense to support their starter, as they don't give up any runs in that last half inning. And now here's Odemar going against Malik Jones, who pitched out of a jam himself, getting that last out. This one back to the boards, and the count 1 ball and no strikes.
Odemar's becoming the king of the bunt. He squared the bunt on that play, and he took the bat back, but and there's no reason he shouldn't. Although this grass the ball's gonna move a lot quicker than it did in Sonoma.
Well, that was a thick grass they had out there. Pitch in there for a strike, and the count 1-1. So for Malik Jones, 1-1 on the year, 4.50 ERA coming in. 3 games, all of them in relief. 4 innings pitched overall, and he struck out 4. Here's the pitch, and that's inside for a ball, and the count 2-1. So Malik, longest outing came in his last outing back on July the 12th against the Pacifics. He ended up getting lost in that inning after going 2. Swinging a foul up and over the screen. Comes to Vallejo from CSU in Bakersfield, where he was a two-way player during the final 2 seasons of his collegiate career. Made 108 starts during his junior and senior seasons. There's a good look at Odemar. And the pitch to him, swung on and missed strike 3, and down goes Valdez for out number 1 here in the 7th.
Now batting for Pittsburg, left fielder number 10, Javier Marty Correa.
So here's Marta Correa. B.J. Gwynn waiting on deck, so Diamonds hoping to get a couple of guys on, get Vinny and Calderon up there and try to erase this 2-run deficit. Getting late here. We've moved into the later stages of the ball game as we begin the 7th inning. The light's starting to take full effect here in Wilson Park, and the first pitch to Marta Correa in there, a strike. Marty flew out to center field twice in the first and the third, and he bounced back to the pitcher. That was in the 5th. He's 0 for 3, and the next one outside and low, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike to Javier.
Malik Jones is all legs and arms, and he gets in that windup, it all goes this big motion and the big arm movement to bring the ball down there.
I'm waiting to see one guy, and you know who that is. A
Yes,
1-1 pitch, and that's way up high, 2 balls and a strike. Our old buddy Sammy Gervasio.
I'd love to get him.
He leads the league in entertainment.
If we could get him up here in the early innings, maybe for an on-air interview, see what he does there.
Swinging a ground ball, left side, picked up by the shortstop Kiriakos, who fires over in time for the out. And David Kiriakos has handled several chances over there at shortstop today, all without incident. So he's had himself a nice game, and actually came in with a 6-game hitting streak. So a guy who didn't really hit a whole lot for the Diamonds last year. Coming in, swinging a pretty hot bat. Here's B.J. Gwynn, fouls this one off. And they count no balls and a strike as Gwynn bats now with nobody aboard and 2 down.
He's 1 for 2 with a double, and maybe that's a sign of his bat waking up.
Swing and a foul. Also scored a run. That was in the 6th. And that was when Wes Wallace picked up his double and an RBI with 2 outs. Diamonds looked like they had it going on in that inning when BJ led it off with a double. Then they had Galletti and Calderon coming up back-to-back, but they both struck out. But Wallace rescued the inning with an RBI double. This one nearly gets all the way to the backstop, and Davey Garcia out from behind the plate to prevent it from doing so.
That wasn't just high. That ball was way outside, and man.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and the pitch. Swung on and missed strike 3. And down he goes. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Malik Jones. So he has faced 4 since coming out of the bullpen. He's retired them all. And now it's 7th inning stretch time here from Vallejo. And the Diamonds trailing Admirals right now. The score is 5-3. to Vallejo this year. And so far, they find themselves trailing by 2. And here's Tillman Pugh, who's been involved in the festivities tonight. Base hit, an RBI, and a run scored. That was in the third. Tillman swings and fouls this one off, and the count 0-1 to the leadoff hitting center fielder of the Admirals, Tillman Pugh. Kyriakos and Blank to follow. And Blackley still out there for the Diamonds, and Diamonds have not been great defensively for him here today. This one left way up high. Another one of those rolling breaking balls that just does not seem to have a bite. There's a look at Travis. But if he'd gotten a couple of more defensive plays, likely would be giving up just a couple of runs so far. Swing and a foul. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes as we see that one goes over that right side and those stands over there. Diamonds and the Admirals both looking for the elixir, if you will, to be able to close the gap with that front running stoppers. There's a pitch outside and low, and the count goes 2 balls and 2 strikes. These stoppers now have won the championship last year, winning both halves of the season, now winning the first half of this year, and really keeping everybody else at an arm's length or more. 2-2 pitch, and that's inside for a ball. Looks like Ron Adams might have been ready to ring up Tillman Pugh right there, but ball too far off the inside part of the plate as we look at Jose Garcia. Diamond shortstop. Right-handed batter waits, and the pitch, swinging a foul back to the screen. And the count remains at 3-2. I think I said 2-2 previously. The count is full to Tillman Pugh, leading off the 7th inning for Vallejo. And the Admirals lead it by a score of 5-3. Lights in full effect now as darkness has taken hold. And the pitch, swing, and this one is looped into right field. Bautista coming on, he'll play it on a hop. And it's a leadoff base hit for Tillman Pugh, and he may have broken his bat.
Now batting for the Admirals, shortstop, number 20.
Boy, Tillman, you talk about a nice piece of hitting, just kind of reached out and slapped that one into right field. And Bautista not playing all that deep out there. Had to come in a couple of steps, but could not play it on a fly, had to play it on a hop. And here's Kyriakos, who came in here, having hit in 6 straight games. Boy, there's a pickoff move right there, and he is picked off.
Yep.
And boy, that right foot looked like it went a little further forward than we got a good explanation for the balk call earlier in the season, Scott and I, but Tillman Pugh is picked off first base, officially a caught stealing. But Blackley,
was
with
that
the move
deception
over
or
there,
illegal?
well, he certainly came quite forward with that front foot, but if he didn't kick it behind the mound, he's okay, right? Swung on into center field from Kyriakos, and going out there to make the catch is Wes Wallace, and that now is out number 2. So here's Mike Blank. Couple of strikeouts looking in the first and the third for Blank, and then he picked up an RBI on a 6-4 fielder's choice. That was back in the 5th inning. So Kyriakos flies to center. And now Blank, who's officially 0 for 3, stands in with the bases empty. And the first pitch to the right-handed batting DH, and he takes a strike, and the count 0-1. So Blackley picking up a lot of strikeouts tonight, but finds himself on the short end of the score. This one going to be outside a little bit, and the count goes to a ball and a strike. Nine strikeouts on the game for the Diamond left-hander. And Blank has been victimized twice. Here's the next pitch, and that's down low for a ball. They count 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, this inning looked like it was that you can't really give too much credit to a pickoff play because it looks like the inning's going to go south, and all of a sudden, boom, you're out. You got nobody on and 2 outs. And things are looking good again.
Travis again from the stretch swing, and this one is popped up on the right side. Bautista out and right, almost overran the play. Had to go back a little bit to make the catch. He does, and the inning is over. The Admirals pick up a base hit, but with the caught stealing and the pickoff, Blackley faces the minimum here in the 7th and will go to the 8th. The Diamonds still trailing Vallejo by a score of 5-3.
Sports bar now open, featuring 3 HD big screen TVs.
All right, Demetrius Banks is the new pitcher for the Admirals. Pete Reyes went 5 2/3, yielded 3 runs. Malik Jones had a nice outing out of the bullpen. He ended up pitching to 4 batters, retiring all of them, and now Banks will pick it up here in the top of the 8th inning with the Admirals leading the Diamonds by a score of 5-3, and Demetrius, the left-hander, will face Vinny Galletti, J.Q. Calderon, and Wes Wallace, the heart of the Diamonds batting order. So for Demetrius, and his first pitch to Vinny, and an off-speed pitch, and there might have been a breaking ball in there for a strike. Good-looking pitch to start off the at-bat. An 0-2 record, a .485 earned run average, 10 games, 1 start, 29 2/3 innings, and he struck out 45 in that span.
That's amazing.
Next pitch missed somewhere. Has walked 18, but that is a lot of strikeouts in that number of innings. 1 ball, 1 strike to Vinny. And a double for Vinny, line to second, and struck out his last time. That was back in the 6th. Pitch to Vinny and cued off the end of the bat in a good spot. Circling it as a third baseman, throwing over, not in time is Fernacci. He was playing off the line at third base, had to come all the way to his right. He had to circle that ball in order to get a good pickup that time, Scott, and try to get some momentum toward first base, but with all that, he didn't have a chance to get Vinny Galletti at first base.
It was a good idea to get the best throw, but you have to choose your poison at that point.
Right.
If you pick it up as soon as you can, you're not going to have much of the throw. He'll probably beat it out.
Yeah.
Or if you get a good position to throw the ball, you're going to have to take some time, and he might beat it out.
But if you go for that backhand and you miss it, it'll be a bouncing double or a 2-base error, however you want to score it. Next pitch to Calderon here is inside. That's a ball. Ball 1 to J.Q.
But let's point out that the Diamonds have this inning started with a runner at first base. They've got their best hitters up. Now's the time. This is, time to shine.
Start the inning here. J.Q. swing and a miss at the fastball. He comes up empty, and it's a ball and a strike to J.Q. Ground out, fly out, strikeout in that order for Calderon. He's 0 for 3. There's a good look at J.Q. Calderon. Waits straight up and down stance. Here's the pitch to him. Swing, and that ball is fouled off. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. So for Demetrius Banks, returns to the Admirals after starting 15 games during the 2015 season. And that's going to, for the most part, pitch out of the bullpen. But he can be a starter if they have to press him into duty. Here's the pitch, swing, and another foul. That'll get back to the screen above the Admiral dugout. And the count stays at 1 and 2. 2015, 89 and a third innings, or the most among all Admirals pitchers a couple of years back. And the pitch, and that's way inside for a ball. J.Q. just did dance out of the way. The Diamonds had runners at first and second with nobody out. That was very close indeed.
Skylar Shaw Fuss is warming up in the Diamonds bullpen right now.
And Banks, the 2-2 pitch. And that one just does miss to the outside, and they count 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And here we are with the Adams family.
There's Skylar Shawfuss, I believe. They're in the bullpen. And the pitch, swing, and a little chopper towards second. Could be 2. Steps on second for 1. Back to first. Throw gets away. Calderon going to take the turn, head over to second. Here comes the throw. Not in time. He's in there. So the fans think he's out.
Calderon beats the throw, according to the second base umpire. Galletti out there was out at second and then was playing second base coach, telling Calderon to slide because here comes the throw. Here comes Calderon in on the replay, and we'll get a chance to see this because this would be a good shot. The ball is there ahead of him, but I'm not sure the tag got down on time. It was close anyway, and he got a safe call.
It'll be a fielder's choice. Galletti's out 4 unassisted. And then there's an error to allow J.Q. to get to second base. So the Diamonds give up the first out of the inning here, but they do get a runner in scoring position with 1 down here in the 8th inning. And here's Wes Wallace, and a big swing and a miss by Wes. Couldn't get the one on the outside part of the plate. He's down to the count. No balls and a strike. Strikeout, walk, double and an RBI. That came in the 6th. That was a big hit for the Diamonds. 2-out situation, swing and a miss, and he's down to the count here, 0-2. Gerald Bautista waits on deck. 1 on, 1 out. Diamonds trail by 2. Top half of the 8th inning as we get the second half of the season underway, and Demetrius Banks walks off the mound. Taking a little extra time here. Kind of looked Calderon back to second base, but there was nobody. Either one of the middle infielders had roamed back there to take a throw. Banks set, and the pitch. Swing, and this one fouled back and out of play. And 2-strike count here to Wes Wallace.
Big chance for the Diamonds with 1 out here and a runner at second, and they're down by 2 runs. They need to at least cut the lead in half here in the 8th inning.
Pitch to Wallace, swing and a miss. He strikes out. So Wes Wallace, for the second time in the ball game, is a strikeout victim, and that'll bring up Gerald Bautista. And the Diamonds are going to need some more 2-out magic here to get one on the board here in the 8th. So Bautista, an RBI triple. That came in the 2nd. Into the 5-4-3 double play. That was in the 4th. He walked in the 6th. Diamonds tallied runs in the 2nd and the 3rd. Bautista part of that run scoring in the 2nd inning. That RBI triple. This one way up high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Alex McKeon, the catcher, would be next. Demetrius Banks, third pitcher used by Skipper Phillips, and this one rolls up there. Couldn't get it to snap down.
No.
It stays high. 2 balls and no strikes. Gerald Bautista up here with a base open, but he's had his moments for the Diamonds, but next pitch to him is way outside for a ball. 3 balls and no strikes, but
Batista knows these pitchers, but he doesn't really know them as an opponent. He's on the same team, so he doesn't get to face them. So he's been most of the first half of the season facing them. There's Joe Torre checking things out, communicating with Calderon, just hoping he gets a chance to wave his arms. Like, score, score, score.
next pitch, and that one is inside, ball 4. So Gerald Batista works out a walk. The inning stays alive here for Alex McKeon. 2 on and 1 out. And you wouldn't think that the way that Bautista has been going since he left the Admirals, and I'm sure the Vallejo knows that you would necessarily pitch around him in this situation. But when you look at the numbers and you see what he's done in the early part of the season with Vallejo and the numbers that Alex McKeon has put up, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to go ahead and walk Bautista and pitch to the Diamond catcher. This one way up high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. So that situational thing kind of goes through the minds of the skippers especially as we move into these latter innings, kind of sort of the game of chess that you might play.
And as you know, the situation changes with every pitch. Strike, ball, what kind of pitch they want to throw. It's so it's running through their minds continuously, whether they act on it or decide that's something to do, or if they decide to act on it, whether they pull it off is sometimes in doubt. But McKeon is in here hitting .228, which actually he has raised his average recently, so that's a good sign for him.
Well, he bats here with 2 on and 2 out. Here's the pitch to Alex. That's in there for a strike, and the count goes to 1-1. Alex, a ground out to short in the second. Bounced back to the pitcher leading off the 5th, and he walked in the 6th. Trying to keep it alive for Jose Garcia. Here's the pitch, and he swings and pops this one up foul. Catcher Davey Garcia going to give it a look. He quickly runs out of room. And they count 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Diamonds catcher, Alex McKeon. There's a good look at Alex. You talk about situational hitting. The Diamonds have had some of that tonight. They've had some of it go against them tonight as well. Trying to get a little more of it right now. You had a chance to hear the pregame show with Scott McDonald and Aaron Miles. And one of the things that Aaron has touched on. Right-handed batter waits. Here's the pitch. That's way inside, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, here's the pitch where Demetrius Banks wants to make it happen. He certainly doesn't want to go 3-2 and give those runners a jump with 2 outs.
That's another situation. The situation when it's 1-2 and you have to protect the plate and they throw one that you have to get your body moving to get out of the way of, that's nice because at least you don't have to worry about protecting the plate. Just protecting your body.
McKeon out of the box there momentarily. Wants to reconfigure some of the things that he's wearing. Now he's ready. 2-2 pitch. Swung on it, missed strike 3. And Demetrius Banks in a bit of a jam. Gets a strikeout here to end the inning. The Diamonds leave 2. They do not score. To the bottom of the 8th we go. It's 5-3 Vallejo. here. Travis Blackley out for his eighth inning of work. Had himself a pretty good game. Has given up a few runs, but not all of them earned. The defense has not been crisp behind him tonight, but they have made a couple of good plays. The offense has come back with another run after the Diamonds had led 2-0 and then ended up trailing 5-2. Here's a pitch swung on and missed by Akins, who leads it off. And he's down on the count, no balls and 1 strike.
I expected Skylar Shawfuss to be out there, and then
I did too.
he's 16 and Blackley is 15, and it took me a while to realize that it was not Shawfuss.
But I know Shawfuss is a right-hander, and this pitch is inside for a ball. But I really expected there to be a relief pitcher in there. But, like I said, if Blackley had got a couple more plays from his defense tonight, he likely would have only given up 2 runs. Travis kicks and fires and the pitch, and that one is swung on, popped up, left side, giving it a look, still giving it a look, and now coming back and unable to make the catch. I think that bounced on the other side of the fence. B.J. Gwynn went over there and looked like B.J. had a play, and that ball wasn't sure whether or not it wanted to stay in play.
That ball had to be hit very high because it's forever to come down. He had forever over there trying to figure out where that ball was going to come down, and he hadn't quite figured it out when it arrived, so he missed it, and now Akins is still alive.
8 home runs for Nick Akins on the year. And the pitch to him, that one rolls up there again. That curveball, if it is, certainly has not been the weapon that Blackley has been looking for tonight. He's just not been able to get the snap on that thing. And that might be a good thing. He's leaving him so high, Scott. If he gets a little more snap, it's probably in the hit-me zone.
Yeah.
Here's the pitch, way outside and high. 3-2.
He pitched 5 innings his first outing. He's pitched 7 innings his second outing. So this is the farthest he's gone into a ball game. And, of course, the Admirals with their lead, this may be their last ups.
Well, Shawfuss, the converted starter, ERA in the mid-4s, but that's actually been pretty good out of the bullpen. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Blackley coming out for the 8th, strikes out the power-hitting Nick Akins, and that'll bring up Graylin Durkee. 10 strikeouts now on the ball game for the Diamond left-hander. He'll face Durkee here, and then Chevy Clark hits behind him. And should either one of them reach, Chris Fernacci, the third baseman, would get a chance. So here's Durkee on now as he checks in. First pitch to Graylin, and that pitch stays up high, maybe a bit outside. To the count, 1 ball and no strikes to the Admiral first baseman. Strikeout, a ground out, and a hit by pitch for Graylin. Pitch to him, swinging a foul, and goes back the screen. Graylin was hit by a pitch to lead off the 6th. Chevy Clark followed that with an infield hit. They got the sac bunt from Fernacci, but then the Diamonds turned in some nice defense and some good pitching by Blackley to get out of the inning unscathed. Big swing and a miss there, and they count 1-2.
Yeah, this would not be the game it is now, which meaning close, if they hadn't come through with those defensive plays. And they have themselves to thank for that, but they've left at least 9 base runners tonight on base.
That's always a bad sign. You hate to miss those opportunities. The 1-2 pitch, and that is low for a ball. But one thing about that stat I always thought, it's like, well, at least you're getting a lot of guys on base.
And it doesn't. But the truth of the matter is, like a lot of stats, it doesn't really tell the whole story. Sometimes you knock 5 people in and you leave the bases loaded. Okay.
Yeah.
But
what do you want? 8 runs every inning?
But that's not the story tonight. The story tonight, they're down by 2 runs and they leave the bases loaded, and that's bad.
2-2 pitch, and that is low in the count 3-2. In the games that we have seen, Scott, and we certainly have had our share of. We've seen the 1-0 game. We've seen the 3-2 type games. But you'd have to think the average number of scoring is much higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
The average number of runs scored per game in the Pacific Association. Payoff pitch, swung on it, missed strike 3, and that is strikeout number 11. And now Graylin Durkee goes down for the second time in this ball game. And boy, talk about Travis Blackley piling up the strikeouts and getting a couple here late. So right now, the Diamond skipper being rewarded for his decision to leave Blackley out there.
Yeah, that's you're absolutely right about that. He is being rewarded for that because it was a questionable decision, and Blackley has looked strong.
Swing and a pop-up, right side. Odemar coming over, looking up, goes back over again, and finally makes the catch. So Odemar had to circle around there and kind of gave it that drunken sailor look, but was able to make the catch, and the inning is over. So nothing across here for the Admirals in the 8th as they go down 1-2-3. We'll go to the top of the 9th. Last chance for the Diamonds. They trail it by 2.
The G is silent. The middle G is silent.
To the top of the 9th we go. Last chance for the Diamonds. And it will be Jose Garcia to lead it off. Then back to the top of the order in Odemar Valdez. And then Javier Marticarena. And our old buddy Sammy Gervasio, the former Houston Astro, into the ball game now. And the guy with the most flair in the Pacific Association, hat askew, kind of reminiscent of Fernando Rodney. And you see the orange in the hair and coming out of the back of the cap and on the beard. And, boy, all the little antics and the flamboyance.
Standing up the mound, looking at the batter. Then he just made a quick move and went up to the mound to enter battle, I guess. Gervasio has a 4.50 ERA, but that's the second lowest on the team.
Pitch from Sammy, and that is in there for a strike to Garcia. The count 0-1, and one of the problems for the Admirals has actually been the starting pitching. But Pete Reyes, 5 2/3, did give up the 3 runs tonight, but not a bad outing as the starter. Malik Jones and Demetrius Banks, nice outings out of the bullpen for Vallejo. This one punched into center field. That could be trouble. That's going to bounce in for a base hit. So Jose Garcia gets his second hit of the night, and that's the way the Diamonds want to start it here. got the leadoff hitter on, and now back to the top of the order for Odemar Valdez, who comes up representing the potential tying run.
Gervasio is 1-2 on the season. 1 win, 2 losses. He's got 6 saves on the year. He has pitched 18 innings in 16 appearances, and he's gotten 23 strikeouts, only 4 walks in those appearances.
Wow, that is
a low number. And all the while, looking like he's going to throw the ball back behind his back. Do you see that?
I love when he does that.
It's like he's going to throw the ball behind his back.
That little flinch he's got there with his arm as he goes back.
Yeah. Sometimes it seems like he's yelling at the base runner to go back.
Gervasio taking his time out there. Garcia back to the base with Odemar waiting at the plate. He's not been a disruptive guy, that is for sure.
He is
flamboyance without the disruption. It's exactly the way we like it. Here's the pitch, and Odemar showed bunt momentarily, didn't square around, pulls back, and takes a ball.
Almost like he showed bunt, looked at the scoreboard and said, "Oh, we're down by 2." In the ninth inning, what am I doing?
Yeah, you're not bunting for a sacrifice or just to get a runner over here. You're bunting for a base hit, but you can see the Admirals with their third baseman, Fernacci, creeping in. There goes the runner. The pitch is inside. The ball is thrown out, and he's not in time. Gets away, and up and running over to third is Jose Garcia. So it's a stolen base for Garcia, and then probably an error on the throw, allowing him to go to third base.
They could have had that. I mean, it could have been a close play as a second, but the ball was not caught by the shortstop, and it went on into center field, and it could have been a close play at third. But the center fielder, Pugh, came in, and he bobbled it when he went to pick it up, and that gave Garcia an easy run into third base. And now the Diamonds, with a runner at third and nobody out, and Valdez, if he wants to bunt now, it could really be exciting.
2-ball and no strike count to Odemar. But really, he is looking to get a base hit here. The
little squeeze play to get within a run maybe here.
Pitch, swing, and a miss. I just certainly don't think you want to in any way give up an out, but you have to think that's attempting to steal that base when Garcia especially is not representing the tying run, and then for Garcia to get up when the ball got loose to run down to third base. Those are kind of risky plays where you're risking an out when you don't represent the tying run. That's big roll of the dice. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for Valdez, and he is out number 1.
One person's risky is another person's aggressive. and that's how the two people will see it. And you're absolutely right, it was risky. I thought a squeeze play could have resulted in a base hit and a run scoring. But to steal the second base was, I think, a little risky. But it's hard to argue with the result. But look at that fine shot. That's a very clear shot. Marty Carrena, who is up here. And now here the Diamonds with another opportunity.
Here's Marty Carrena now. He represents the potential tying run. B.J. Gwynn waits on deck. Righty-righty matchup here. Swung on, hit in the air, right center field. Garcia going to look to tag. He will. The catch is made by Clark in right field. Here comes the runner to score. So the Diamonds do get a run closer, but they give up the second out. That certainly is not what they were looking for in that situation. Marty Carrena picks up the RBI, but that is not what I would call a happy ending to that at-bat for Pittsburgh.
That's what they call the sacrifice fly that killed the rally. But that's not entirely true. B.J. Gwynn's up here. He's followed by the big bat. So if the Diamonds can keep it alive, who knows what will happen.
Boy, Fernacci was giving B.J. a lot of room, and this one inside for a ball. Fernacci had been playing much more over toward the shortstop position, and now has creeped back over to a normal third base position. Didn't want to give B.J. maybe that easy slap or bunt along the third baseline, and he hits this one hard into left center field, going over there to make the catch.
That's by him. He dropped the ball.
Tilden Pugh.
Oh, he threw the ball.
And the ball. Whatever Scott just said, never mind. That's out number 3.
Well, I want to see this replay because I don't know what happened out there, but that ball was headed towards his glove, and then it was bouncing towards the fence.
So that'll do it. The Diamonds do tally a run here in the 9th inning, but they come up 1 run short, a final of 5-4. And Pete Reyes, Malik Jones, Demetrius Banks, and then our old buddy Sammy Gervasio picking up the save tonight. So the Admirals had problems with their starting pitching, got pretty good starting pitching out of Pete Reyes. The bullpen really the story for them, scoreless after 5 2/3.
Yeah, the Diamonds were in that timely hitting situation. Of course, I guess, whenever you're not winning, that's going to be the story. I mean, unless you can completely shut down, you don't win because you do not drive people in who have gotten on base and scoring position. But there's some games where it's just glaring. When you have the bases loaded, you can't score. Second and third and one out, you don't score. And here, the Diamonds had a runner at third and one out in the bottom of the ninth. They got the run in from third, but they couldn't do anything else and lose by 1 run to Vallejo. And so they start out with that bad taste in their mouth for this second half of the season. Vallejo, on the other hand, has got to be ecstatic. I don't know how they started their second half. I mean, their first half, but they are 1-0 and in first place and undefeated. And the Diamonds are 0-1 and looking forward to tomorrow night here at 6:30.
Yeah, we'll do it again tomorrow night, and then on Wednesday, or on Thursday rather, close out this series with the Admirals. And the Diamonds can only hope that will be the rubber match, meaning that they would have to come back and win tomorrow. But Travis Blackley today, 8 innings pitched, did yield the 5 runs. Not all of them earned those, Scott, and came up with 11 strikeouts. And how about the way he came out in the 8th? Both of us thought that Tyler Shaw-Fuss, the right-hander, was going to come out of the pen. He did not. And he picked up a couple of more strikeouts to finish with 11. And to tell you the truth, the Diamond defense a little shaky at times here today. Really, Blackley could have ended up with just 2 runs tonight.
And yeah, he could have left here with a victory, a complete game victory. You get the complete game loss, and that's just unfortunate for him because it really probably was his best outing. Even he had moments, but pitchers are gonna have moments, especially if you stay in the game that long. And he looks good on his recovery, but I don't know what kind of schedule he thinks he's on or plans to be on. For the Diamonds, it's Mike Gunn tomorrow, who was a pitcher on opening day, as you may recall, for the Diamonds. And then on Thursday night, it'll be Tyler Steyerwalt. So they are looking forward to featuring more of their strong starting pitching and looking forward to getting on the winning side of the score again.
Well, the Diamonds get tripped up here in Vallejo as we begin the second half of the season. The Diamonds lose it by a final score of 5-4 here at Wilson Park. For all of us here with Diamonds Baseball, for Scott McDonald, I'm Anthony Schultz saying good night from Vallejo.